Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind, can't shake the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't chain you down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turned me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light.
Orissa Online.
In 2018, we witnessed one man begin the climb as an Overwatch caster. The adventure began with quick play casting, where RichRad brought a new level of excitement and intensity to the casual and competitive gamer, making every quick play feel as if you were a pro.
Doomfist to contest against it. Supercharger now going to be joined in conjunction with it to try and get the extra damage. Coalescence to force them back. Jet's going to be overwhelmed as the support's going to get picked off. Triple kill with Soggy dominating on the front.
During RichRad's growth in the competitive Overwatch scene, he accelerated through small community tournaments, leaning into cast Open Division, and even gained the opportunity to commentate Tier 2 Chinese Overwatch contenders. With his consistent growth and loyal community, it's finally time for RichRad to bring the excitement here for you today.
Hello and welcome everybody, as today we are going to start the first ever RichRad Community Tournament as we get to look at the two teams that are going to be live. It will be, as you see on your screen, Phasmids versus Bike Racks. So again, as it will be the two of us today casting, not just one, it will be me along with the amazing and awesome Gilgamesh here, who is going to be casting with me as we will get this not only as a player, but as a caster today. How are you doing today, Gilgamesh?
Oh, I'm doing great, Rich. You know, just a lovely Monday evening, ready to watch some of these exciting games between Phasmids and Bike Racks.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And again, for those that are tuning in, we are just going to quickly give a review for those who might not actually know what it's going to really look like today for the actual match lineup, what we're going to have happen. So it is going to be best of 3 for these first initial matches. The first map going to be Busan as a control as we lead into the remaining maps, which again will be the Assault map, Escort, and then potentially a tiebreaker map on Ilios. So again, as you can see, I am looking so very much forward to both of this as we're going to get it underway. And like I said, you know, with these two teams going into this and the community starting, I cannot tell you how grateful I am as we are waiting for them to both get the okay to start. And it will be, like I said, Bike Racks versus Phasmids. And honestly, between these two, you know, there was a little bit of team discussion, and there's a little bit of a tidbit note that you have there about the Mercy plays coming out of this. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I noticed that TurtleFish, now this is just some personal knowledge, and not Cake Master, excuse me, and a Banana, both avid Mercy players, both, this is quoting, would give their life for Mercy, devoted to her, and would get tattoos of her ult symbol on them. So this will be an interesting battle of the Mercies, see if they both pull her out and see who will perform better in the end.
And I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, seriously, that's a great little piece of information there. I mean, I'm not surprised. And again, the Battle of the Mercies is truly going to come out here as we are waiting for both teams, I believe, again. And so we can also look at it. It will be the Bike Racks on the left-hand side as blue team with Phasmids on the right. And I believe everybody is going for this as we will get the first map underway. And tell me a little bit about Busan and what you think we might actually see coming out of this. There's so much in the GOATS meta, but we could see some variation here. And what do you think it could be?
So that's the exciting part to me. Busan is a fiesta, as I would like to call it. Busan is crazy how many different comps and styles you could see, and just the map difference itself. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one map be dominated with tank heavy comps while another map is full of dive or maybe something like quad DPS or something crazy like that. I definitely could see just about anything and everything here.
Yeah, and I mean, and if they do seem to go towards it, I mean, I know we've seen some interesting gameplay from Kurimoto, who likes to play the Diva, even some Bastion, which is interesting. So we'll see how well that's going to maybe, you know, acclimate to this. Or they're going to go for, you know, a traditional type of composition. And we look to see Phasmids here with, like I said, DJ on that Orisa play, with now Gnarl also looking to be on the Roadhog for that Halt-Hook combination.
Now, this is interesting. Turtle not on the Mercy, but only Psyche on the Mercy, but also Cog pulling out the signature Far. That's definitely something that he's played quite a lot. And I can just say personally from scrims, Bike Racks definitely fond of the Pharmacy. It was really interesting to see how they go with that, especially also pulling in the hook halt combo with the Orisa Roadhog.
And it looks like they're going to try and both engage each other on the side of this drum. They're going to look for that high ground, but a lot of damage coming out early from Cog on that upper position, trying to get some potential shots to break the shield now in the backside, as they're really just trying to whittle away at it as they look to retreat. Now you see them healing and doing a great job on the front, and really just needed to look for an early pick, and there it is, but an even exchange here for Gilgamesh.
Oh, but the res comes out. Unfortunately, Phasmids is not able to get the res off, but Bike Racks are. They'll take the point early from that. That was a really good shot from Funk Frog there, able to pick off that hog early.
And you're going to see them try and hide behind this pillar here on the side of Bike Racks. They're looking to now get T-Bolt on the Winston, though, to see if they can find some opportunity in the backside as they look to move down this left-hand corridor to try to engage. You see the lead there with Cake Master on that Reinhardt. Can they get some protection here? Is the Junkrat still going to deal some significant damage? As Cog on the opposite side, though, is really trying to play close to it. Getting a lot of damage on the shield, now starting to push it back. Does go over the high ground with the quick engage coming out by T-Bolt to hopefully force them back. DJ extremely low on that close encounter, using the immortality field though to survive through it in the back line. Does get the pick, able to tank down another numbers advantage, but a quick res to even it out. 43% still in favor, will get them off the point. Amplification matrix is up to try and get the damage necessary to break that shield as they continue to fight around this. DJ on the front using the supercharger though to get a lot of extra boosted damages. This is still going to start going in favor of Phasmids.
And you see Phasmids right there. They get off the point now. Bikerex has an opportunity to take it back, but they were able to use that main drum to hide from all of that Baptiste extra damage there. It's really interesting seeing them pull out, and they've switched off now to the Zarya, but the Winston Rhine was an interesting pick. I was curious to see how they would roll with the 2 anchor tanks, the 2 shield tanks right there. Right now, they still have March to kind of deal with Cog's Fara. That'll be an interesting dynamic and an interesting battle to look forward to.
And that halt is just going to continue to reposition them. Cog on the high ground, still in a great position, and has the rocket barrage. Now the Deadeye on the backside going to find some value. Does get the double, while Cog just continues to rain damage overhead here as they still hold on to these ultimates. They're reaching the 72%. Can they get the follow-up on the backside? Does manage to get the kill onto Ash, as you see them in now last fight territory here for the side of Bike Racks.
And that's a tough fight right there. That's a tough stagger for the Ash right there. But the High Noon was just in a place where they didn't see it. They weren't able to negotiate their shields in time. And that High Noon is so deadly now after that last buff that even with shield, they can break it and then kill someone behind it.
It really can, but they have at least that Earth Shatter to work in. Now it's going to be Cog in the backside, managing to get 2 looks for the triple. The halt to pull them into it with the assistance of DJ. Triple kill in total, with now the extra boost by that Pharmacy composition playing so well, cleaning up now, as that's going to be round 1 on Busan, going in favor of Phasmids. Or correction, Bike Rack.
That was a excellent barrage position from Cog. He was able to peek over just that small wall on the attacker side left flank, and the Phasmids just didn't see him coming. He was able to peek over there. He had Mercy support with that damage boost. He was able to just wipe 2 people immediately, finish a third off with just the normal rockets, and by the time Phasmids had reached point, their tanks were alone. They had no supports.
No, they really didn't. And this one, since there is a lot of high ground position advantage, I would not be surprised to see either team use it to their, real advantage as they look to try and prevent that drop down. You see them also using that lower section. It will be looking like DJ leading the way on that Orisa, depending on which way they're going to really go. They want to actually take that backline position here, moving forward to try and get that early opportunity. There's still 20 seconds to go, as we are now looking to see that home ship play on the high ground as well with the Pharah.
Yeah, bringing out pharmacies on both sides, but really interesting the Symmetra pick here. I'm really curious to see how they roll with this, to see if they can get the value from her. Once they take point, she can definitely have a lot of value, very defensive, very good at holding select locations.
And they're going to try and use these walls to their advantage on the side of Bike Racks. They're managing to use that cover very well. You see the early grab onto T-Bull, but surviving through it. The reposition as well by DJ. The well-organized play coming out very strategically with that halt, but now going to get in return. The Immortality Field is available as they continue to get some damage by Turtlefish with that Baptiste. Amplification Matrix coming out, does get the extra boost in the backside, as they are going to have to be extremely careful right now as you see them still forcing it back. Bike Racks having the numbers advantage now that the Symmetra has been taken off the point. Gnarl in the backside, though, looking to be very careful as they look to wrap around the shield. T-Bull will get overwhelmed, flanked, unfortunately, as the damage still rains on the high ground from Cog here, and they're really just trying to stagger this out, but the Deadeye manages to get 2 and cleans it up.
That was a clutch Deadeye to just finish that fight. I want to highlight something here, though. Turtlefish is generating ults incredibly fast, and I feel like that Baptiste is actually what's making the difference here. In a close to mirror comp situation, that Baptiste Immortality Field is giving the Bike Racks the sustain to be able to win these fights outright just by deathballing.
Very much so, and as they're starting to try and recontest on this point, they're already at a good 25%, but they cannot seem to get to this point with so much damage being thrown. Cog already having that ultimate available, but now here comes the rocket barrage on the side by Homeship, claiming 2, but does go down by Cog, the counterpart, as the res will come up immediately, but no, it gets forced back. Starting to move forward onto this point, Photon Barrier is going to be activated to try and sever this room in half. Gnarl doing a great job to use the whole hog, forcing back the support, but this wall is actually giving them quite a bit of problems right now to get any damage past it entirely as they look to get that shutdown on the point and switch it back at 51% here.
That fight, really honestly, March's barrier right there was clutch. It was in such a good spot, was able to shut down that whole hog like you brought up, but also Cog wasn't able to quite finish off Homeship before that barrage got as much damage as it did. It was another, just like I highlighted on the first map, Homeship was able to find a good location, low to the ground, and be able to eliminate 2 people before the fight even started.
Oh, and they're going to get some early pick, though. It will be Homeship being brought down by Funk, but now an even exchange here. Managing to take it down by that Zenyatta play with Cog on the high ground, starting to rain damage, but the Transcendence is there to retaliate against it and keep the team alive. But you see that, again, high ground play being so well, the maneuverability gaining just a lot of opportunity here as they get the res now back onto Funk. Nearing that opportunity, here's the Supercharger looking now for, again, that backline position. If the Deadeye does come up in time, still continuing to rain damage as Cog just cleans up on the backside with an entire team kill and looking to switch it now at 50% to 52 and climbing for Bike Racks.
The real turning point in that last fight was both teams used their reses, they got back to even strength, and then someone just forgot that Cog was about 10 feet above the ground, raining rockets in their face. Cog was able to get the kill on March again, and now has switched over to the Ash, which I think Phasma's was kind of just lacking right there. Funk Frog's been on that McCree for a while now, the hit scan to kind of counter that Pharah. It'll be interesting to see if March can start getting some kills and putting more pressure on this pharmacy.
I very much agree with you, especially with the ultimate from Bob getting to zone a lot of this team back. Cog gonna get picked out of the sky with the assistance with Cake Master as well. The Immortality Field allowing them to survive on the high ground. Numbers advantage still getting a lot of sightline opportunity with the Dynamite, but the Immortality, High Noon gonna come out as well, claiming to the Bird and the support, taking out quickly. But a nice drop to get the kill onto Funk. Frog unable to survive through it as it's now Gnarl looking to use the whole hog once again as they have this last opportunity. Overtime continuing to commence as the amplification matrix finally fades, but the Supercharger in favor of Phasmids trying to use it. They have the advantage. Can they turn it around? But Cog using the rockets overhead, switched and stripped from the side of Bike Racks as this is just a continuous staggered here right now, Gil.
Honestly, this fight is going on for much longer than I expected. Phasma's unable to clean up those kills right there. Cog getting off another clutch ult. Bike Racks just kind of using ults as they get them, and right now Cake Master pulled out of that whole hog, unfortunately. I do want to give credit, though, to Phasmids for making that swap to Baptiste. This fight's getting even more intense right now.
And they're trying to get with that Wrecking Ball as well. They have to. They need to make sure that they have the numbers to get onto this point. And T-Ball, unfortunately, going to get picked off. They're staggering them away as the overtime continues to tick. The Supercharger looking to secure that they will claim this first map, which is going to be Busan. And they look to do so as Team Bike Racks manages to claim the first one, best of 3. And now let's go ahead and see what... No, you're good. Let's see what the play of the game was, as we will be Cog, though, coming out on the Pharah. Let's take a first-hand look, and you can kind of give a little bit of a breakdown of why that worked so well here for them.
Cog, just on one hand, a very good Pharah player. This is actually a fight I was just talking about, where people just kind of forgot he was there. He was able to get in close. Nobody opposed him. He was just able to pick off people in different groups. He had that support from Funk Frog's McCree to put pressure on the other Pharah, so he didn't really have to worry about the Pharah to Pharah combat. I did want to give credit really quickly to Phasmids, though. I think their comp switched at the end right there. That last fight still ended up a loss, but I think switching to the Baptiste was a really good idea, and I think that that comp in general would have worked out really well for them.
I very much agree with you.
Score aside, I think that it was a pretty close series.
And I mean, like you said, just to kind of piggyback off of that, those switches right at the end, especially when it came to the Ashe, they wanted to get to that hit scan. They wanted to make sure to try and get Cog, who was causing a lot of pressure, like you said, as a good Pharah player, you know, to be out of the sky, not to have those vantage points, giving a little bit more room for Homeship as well to not be counter-Pharah'd in the air, which we did see happen a couple of times, especially once Homeship did go into that rocket barrage. So that was definitely one of those things we had to focus on. But also, just to give a little bit of credit as well to Cordelia on the side of Phasmids, that Zenyatta play several times utilizing that Discord Orb to get those picks necessary to make sure that we can go ahead and, you know, see that utilization of damage in addition to healing. It's really, really critical to have that true support line in the backside, as we even saw on Bike Racks using that just pharmacy composition to fuel so much damage, as it looks like we're actually going to go on Temple of Anubis for the next map here.
Well, that'll be interesting. I'll kind of the unsung hero, like you brought up, the Zenyatta players, usually the unsung hero of that Discord Orb placement. They maybe they don't even do damage on that target, but that Discord Orb is so important, especially just being able to melt high health targets. Also wanting to point out, I thought the tank play on both sides was really good. Grey Gnarl had so much sustain on that Roadhog, was just finding ways to stay alive when even a Roadhog shouldn't.
Very much so.
But I'm very interested to see how this Temple of Anubis plays.
And I mean, to be honest, this is one of those maps that we constantly, amongst the community, rant and rave about in how we dislike it. But
Yes.
yet we're going to see it today in the first set of matches between the community teams. And I am just looking forward to seeing what kind of comps we'll have here. Will it be the Orisa Symmetra for the high ground? Will it be, you know, dive composition on the attacking side? There's so many different things here, and I'm really curious to see what we're going to have be presented by both sides today. Oh, actually, correction. We had a quick miss selection there. Unfortunately, we will actually switch it to Hanamura as the pick. From what it looks like, there was just a brief, unfortunate. I think they were joking about Temple of Anubis, which would make sense since we literally just said that. As we will take a brief moment to let them reset that, I believe. Now I love it. You know what? This is what makes the community matches even funner, because they're looking to even troll me, the streamer that holds the tournament.
we have very strong opinions about Temple of Anubis.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a couple of Bike Racks members jokingly saying, "Let's go to Temple of Anubis."
See, this is what happens.
Why do we hate Temple?
This is what happens. I allow them to have the name of Bike Racks, and they take advantage of it, and then make me go to Anubis.
Would you
just to
expect
troll me.
any less from that name, though?
I never expect anything less at this point, because I always expect the full brunt of everything to come from my community. As we now look like we are going to go into Hanamura, the correct map that was going to be selected. And Cog, let's see, what do you think we might see? Or correction, Gil, I was going to say, because I'm thinking about Cog.
We could
playing
bring
the
Cog in for a
Doomfist
player interview.
No, I'm going to be honest. That's the only reason why I immediately thought Cog, because I'm like, I want to see him on this Doomfist, because this is a map I feel for it.
I know. I would be really interested to see the Doomfist on here. There are definitely spots on here where the Pharah play isn't as valuable. So I would be very intrigued to see the Doomfist. I also want to see Kyoto on the Diva.
Very much.
It's just not happening. He's got over 500 hours on Diva, but I just haven't been able to see it. And there you go. Your wish is answered. Cog on the Doomfist early.
Ooh! For all the fan matches at which he throws at me to learn Doomfist, now I get to firsthand commentate it and make sure that he knows my true feelings about his gameplay.
Give the full critique.
I'm totally going to. I mean, honestly, let's just get that nice little viewpoint of him right now just to see exactly what he's going to do at this initial point. Totally kidding. But as we look at the combination here and composition for Phasmids, looks like they're going to go towards that Reinhardt Zarya, which synergizes so well together as a tank duo.
Yeah, they're bringing out, again, the Pharmacy. The Reinhardt Zarya works out extremely well, bringing the Symmetra as well. This comp with the Ana is going to be hard to kill. Especially when they're down and clustered together, they're going to be really hard to do a lot of damage. I'll be interested to see how Bike Racks is able to handle that, especially with Brigitte. Their healing is a little less with just the Brig Mercy.
Ooh, and a nice hook comes out early, though, just behind the shield, seeing if they can maybe get that early pick with now a lot of focus onto that Pharah play by Homeship. They have to stop that damage coming in, but they have to also play very careful of not only the hook, but also the halt potential combination onto that Pharah play, as they still really just kind of buy their time here until that initial pick is going to happen.
Also, looking at that teleporter, it looks like Phasmids might want to try to pull a sneaky one. They're rotating now back, but they look like they might have tried to go into window early.
And T-Bolt getting very low on the side of Phasmids, having to play extremely careful. Beautiful shield, though, going to come out from the Zarya player on the side of Phasmids to survive through it. A decent amount of ult charge generated on this back line. Homeship, a sliver of health, as now they're a little bit staggered, even though they've managed to take this high ground here. Trying to use that Reinhardt shield to focus and just see where they can move right now.
Speaking of low health, Ka got down to about 2 health and was purple naded by Ana and just was able to hide. Oh, immediately Funk Frog with the kill on Homeship, though.
And you're going to now see that Meteor Strike available. Funk getting the double now as you see them regroup on the point. And this is a difficult spot now for Phasmids. They've lost 2. They have to regroup using the teleport defensively now to potentially have that full 6 stack or just play in that corner until they can maybe have a chance to regroup here.
Now, this is curious. It'll be interesting to see. It looks like Bike Racks just wants to wait and say, come to us on point. While Phasmids is content to hide in the corner until their 2 teammates come back. Be interested to see if they make it back safely.
And that's the thing, is the only real benefit to that mobility right now is the fact that they had the Symmetra. Is if they didn't have that to get the reposition on the teleporter, I think it would have been much more difficult for them, as the now damage comes out with those sentry turrets. Supercharger in the front side, you do see the charge with the Meteor Strike by Cog. Can they get the leap in the backside? Manages to do it, but they're still pressing. Numbers advantage in favor of Phasmids as Cog tries to do the best that they can, but now getting overwhelmed, not going to be able to buy too much more time here, as they just consistently rain damage onto the side of Bikerex. Overwhelmed, but no, Funk Frog able to get come out. Revival from the support here. Anna Banana doing a beautiful job, and the grab is going to come out to secure it. Finally getting the deletion on Bikerex, as now it's only really the Wrecking Ball trying to just buy some time in this bell, but they will most likely lose it here unless they can regroup in time.
Kyoto just kind of buying a little bit of time, just like every annoying Wrecking Ball in all of my comp games. Phasmids had to devote a lot to get that point. And for a second, once Funk Frog got rezzed, it looked like Bikerex might have been able to turn it there. But the grab was, like you said, was able to really seal it. It'll be interesting going into point 2 now. No grab, but they do have a Shatter coming up and a Barrage coming up. Bikerex are also pretty depleted here, so this could be a pretty just straight up even fight.
And you're going to see them try and move to that high ground position. This is very risky early, because if they can get, again, that halt hook combination, it's going to be very beneficial. There's the halt. Do they have the hook? Homeship having to fall back as they look to try and push through. The charge going to come out as well. Will have to retreat, though, as now Cog gets the nice engage, looking for the Earth Shatter. Does get so many members, but trying to counter it. The now Rockets rain above as Cog looks to just get some damage in the backside, but the Bionade lands. Won't be able to do too much more as Cake Master looks to take him down, and they have a good 4 minutes to work with here, as they seem to have a good chance of taking this, but the respawn advantage is very important here in favor of Bikerex. They might just have enough to switch it back, and I think they'll be able to do so here, Gilgamesh.
Is that a Widowmaker I see coming out right now?
It looks like it is.
Widowmaker come out from Funk Frog.
And going from the McCree to the Widow is not so terrible, to be honest.
No, definitely a ton of damage coming out. And like you said, those respawns were just a little bit too much there. That first initial engage was amazing. T-Bull with the 3-person Shatter and the Barrage to follow up was able to kind of clear them out, but just unable to kind of clean up those respawns. Turtlefish's Brigida is able to get Rally and is able to have even more sustain on point for them, and they just can't finish those kills in the end, unfortunately.
And we're actually going to see Funk Frog stick on the Widowmaker, getting that long range versus the mid to long range by the McCree. You do see them now taking the flank since they have the Symmetra. Charge going to come in by T-Bull, but the Photon Barrier, in addition, they're trying to separate this damage as Cog looks to get some assistance on the back line. Will get the takedown by Funk. Beautiful job finding the pick regardless of this Photon Barrier, but still a lot of sightlines being prevented here. And once again, you see that Homeship play with the Pharah using it to their advantage, as they are now at a very, very unfortunate disadvantage, but still, Funk Frog finding some shots, needing the executions, the healing continuously flowing into Homeship, just allowing them to continuously rain damage overhead as the numbers still start to go back in favor because of that respawn advantage for Bikerex.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, kind of the same situation. Phasmids kind of wins that early game, that early fight, but they're not able to kind of clean up the fight and clean up the respawns, and then they have to worry about Funk Frog, who's just kind of sitting on that high ground and has free reign to shoot down all day long. It's just, it's very nerve-wracking. I can tell personally from a Pharah player to just have a Widowmaker with free and open sight lines.
Oh, definitely. And again, because they don't really want to risk it at this point. They've got 2 minutes. They have T-Bull along with Cordelia on that Zarya with the ultimates. If they switch to that kind of dive composition to hard counter Funk, it's so much lost here, and especially with that little time remaining.
Yeah, honestly, resetting your ults like that was always frustrating, always struggles, especially when you have so many right now and only 2 minutes left. I'll be interested to see how this nano boost goes here. Oh, immediately out. Ooh.
And you see Cog with the execution, finding it with the assistance, but there's still a lot in return, having to use it defensively to survive through it, as it will be Symmetra taking the teleporter to dodge out of the way, but still Psyche Siren on the high ground, getting the Mercy Res, trying to keep them alive as the Valkyrie is available, still looking to stay on the point, as Funk manages to find some sightlines here, getting the triple, looking for the quad. Can they get the collapse on the low ground, as that automatic rifle manages to take it? Unbelievable job with the hit scan play right now, and this is where they still hold on to the ultimates, but they have such a disadvantage because they just are freely allowing Funk to get those shots.
Yeah, there's just no way to like truly contest them with what they have right now. Oh, they've switched to a Widow of their own. Cake Master on the Widow now. This will be an interesting duel to watch. Oh, T-Bull dropping low though.
And they are going to get the kill. That is an unfortunate stagger here. They have to wait for the 6 as they will look very carefully for that counter Widow play. Seeing if they can... Oh, and finding it just in time before the shield comes up. As they will start to still maintain this high ground, looking to play very carefully. Again, they have the res, and it is going to come out. They do use it, but the early pick as well now from Cog switching onto the just Pharah play again instead of going to that Doomfist and just raining so much in this choke point right now.
Really wanted to contest that aerial. Oh, that was incredible. Cog just made an amazing play that maybe not everyone at home would see. That concussion blast knocking the Rein Zarya off.
And you saw it firsthand there. You are correct. The Supercharger now going to be available. Extra damage on the side of Bike Racks looking to hold if they don't want them to complete it. 5 members over 1, as that might just be enough. But you do have to commend Phasmids here for able to gain 1 tick and almost a second. So that does still play a very critical role, as now the roles will switch where Phasmids are on the defense.
Yeah, definitely. They got, looks like 1 tick and 58%. So that's plenty of chance to take the W there, be able to win with this. They just need to have a strong defense here. Yeah, like I said, that was a really good concussion blast. Knocks the Zarya and the Rein with Earth Shatter off of high ground, away from the Graviton defenders. A really good play right there. Honestly, Bike Racks did a great job stabilizing on a couple of those pushes.
Very much so. And with now the last minute switch to going onto the Pharah play for Bike Racks, I would not be surprised to see the Doomfist come back out again. They more did it, I feel, towards the end of it because they could really just, I think, execute more. Kong was looking for those opportunities on the supports in the back line, but once they started to play a little bit more close together after finding out that it was a weakness going into Cog's Doomfist, that they really didn't have as much advantage and had to switch to the Pharah, which netted them a lot more, in addition, like we said, to the switch onto the Widowmaker from the McCree.
Yeah, I would actually like to see them kind of switch up their comp just a little bit more. Maybe throwing some mirrors in here. I think they would be very competitive with that. And actually, speaking of, it looks like they're going to run a Doomfist Pharah, which will be very interesting. See how Cake Master can be able to handle these tanks that come in. Funkrock sticking on the Widow. We're looking at the Hog Orisa, looking for that hook halt combo again. Really interested to see how this Moira goes on both sides.
And you don't typically see it too often in a lot of competitive play, especially in like the higher seedings and things like that. But again, this is still an opportunity for them to utilize it because it's something out of the ordinary. Can they take advantage of that extra damage and just fluid healing from it, along with the opportunity for the invasion that it really just allows with the Fade?
Honestly, yeah, it just the survivability of Moira is incredible, and her ability to get Coalescence so early in fights. I initially will give advantage though here to Phasmids. That Diva can definitely delete those orbs, so that'll be really interesting to see if maybe Turtle doesn't quite get the same value that Cordelia will.
Ooh, and Cog!
The double.
Unbelievable, gaining the quick follow-up onto the Pharah counterpart. Home ship unable to stack against it, but they do at least get res back up by Psyche Siren, keeping Cog moving that pressure onto the point, looking for that last final kill in the back corner, as the Coalescence is going to be forced here, though. It might be enough for them to hold on to this for a moment or so longer to regain the numbers advantage, as you do see that Diva health whittle away quickly, as DJ rocking the Orisa still in the corner consistently, making sure that they have that extra boosted damage as the whole honk comes out to clean the rest of the members off. They were able to claim 1 tick and most likely going to claim the rest here with a decent time bank, as Phasmids are going to have to look to play defensively here.
Unfortunately, it didn't. They end up losing the fight in the end, but that was kind of the point I was bringing up early. Cordelia is able to get Coalescence when Turtle is still at 65%, just because of that Diva's value of eating orbs. Cordelia is able to get a lot more damage out, a lot more healing out compared to her counterpart. But unfortunately, Bike Racks are able to just finish off those kills and take the point. Now rolling into point B with a similar kind of ult scenario where they have a barrage, but they don't have quite much else to go with it.
And TurtleFish getting that early pick onto Anna Banana is... Oh, and Cog coming in from the high ground with the damage boost and healing to clear off the high ground. And now TurtleFish looks to just secure it on the front side. taking down the D-Mech, bringing them out of the fight, unfortunately. But again, we still have the respawn advantage. Can they be able to regroup? So much damage has been done, though, for them to even touch the point, and it won't be enough. That is going to be Bike Racks taking this first community tournament game over Phasmids with a 2-0 best-of-3 win.
That last fight was just such good team synergy, in my opinion. The barrage was really well timed with the team moving into Phasmid's defensive line right there, and just amazing job cleaning up kills. They're able to get Coalescence off. It saved a few lives, and then the Valkyrie was just keeping everybody topped off and doing that extra damage. It was just really good team play all around there.
And I just have to say, we just saw a Mercy play of the game coming out by Anna Banania, so even though they may not have won that match, there is still some glory to be had on that play of the game with the team. And again, to everybody that has played, thank you so very much, as we have the Bike Racks moving forward in this tournament to challenge tomorrow. But without further ado, I also want to say that we have some more Overwatch coming. We have 3 more coming up for you. We are going to go to a quick break before we continue this. It will be again myself and Gilgamesh casting the next one, and then the 2 after that it will be again myself with Sir Waltham. So we will go to a quick break for the moment as we do organize the next 2 teams, and we're looking to bring more action to you soon, so don't go anywhere, friends.
it down. Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind. Can't shake the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't chain you down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking, hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. 'Cause the time keeps turning, feels just like it speeds up. It's what I waited for. Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind. Can't shake the light. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. Just wanna feel the stars surround. The atmosphere never to come down. I'll stand alone, whether right or wrong. It takes me home, right where I belong. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This
Orisa Online.
In 2018, we witnessed one man begin the climb as an Overwatch caster. The adventure began with quick play casting, where RichRad brought a new level of excitement and intensity to the casual and competitive gamer, making every quick play feel as if you were a pro.
Doomfist though to contest against it. Supercharger now going to be joined in conjunction with it to try and get the extra damage. Coalescence to force them back. Jet's going to be overwhelmed as the support's going to get picked off. Triple kill with Soggy dominating on the front.
During RichRad's growth in the competitive Overwatch scene, he accelerated through small community tournaments, leading him to cast Open Division and even gained the opportunity to commentate Tier 2 Chinese Overwatch contenders. With his consistent growth and loyal community, it's finally time for RichRad to bring the excitement here for you today.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are now going to get the second match underway, as we will look to have the next two teams be Squidvly versus Evil. Now, with these two teams, we've already just recently seen the two go head-to-head right now, as we will take a quick look at the bracket so you can see that it was the Bike Racks claiming victory 2-0 over Phasmids, moving forward to look to compete against Team Rampant tomorrow. But as we do have three more lined up for you today, it will be, like I said, Squidvly and Evil coming up. And Gilg, this one I'm looking forward to because I know Evil is more of one of the teams that's from outside of the server, which with a few members, of course, but Squidvly's being a lot of members a part of the community, and I know Soggy, our lovely video editor, is leading the charge.
Yeah, Soggy hopefully can make a nice video from this the whole tournament for us. Being like, hey, Soggy, like just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge there. No, this will be really interesting because I haven't actually seen as many of these guys and girls playing. So I'll be really interested to see how what kind of hero pools they have, what kind of comps they come out with. Also, speaking of that bracket, I'm very interested in this match because the winner of this game happens to play Team Inevitable tomorrow.
And that's what I was going to try and have you piggyback off of. So that's where you're going to go next. So you're going to get some good intel on this, and we will let you at least go ahead and commentate with me for this before we change it over to go into our two remaining matches, which, again, in the lineup, as we can also see, I'll head back to that bracket so we can let the other teams know, just so they have, if they are watching at the moment, Scooby and Shake and Bake coming up at 9 p.m. CST Central Time, and then we have the final one for the night, which is going to be At Least 6 versus Raw Storm. So we will go ahead and see how this is going to fend off as we get the R's from both sides of the teams. And again, we will, as I showed in the map pool, always going to start out on the same map, which is going to be Busan, just because we want to make sure that we get that for sure victory on one or the other side, because we know that that pesky draw, even though it may be very rare to happen, can always somehow lurk its way to the top of the way. And but yeah, so as we are just waiting, I'm almost curious because I've known Soggy to play a big support character, and you know, I've also seen Illuminated work very well with one another, that it's going to be an opportunity for them, I think, to synergize well, because we've seen them even do it in fan matches together.
Yeah, I'll be really interested. Like I said, there's a lot of hero pools that I'm not quite as familiar with these guys. So really excited to see. I hope we see some weird stuff. Again, like I said, the first match, Busan, I am always wacky, always craziness on this map.
Always.
Really quickly before we get started, I want to we got little details on each player, and I just want to point out that Still Got Legs made an Ocean Man reference. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Rich, but I am upset.
I am upset.
I'm disappointed.
Let's have you elaborate, my friend.
Because Ocean Man does not take me by the hand, nor does he take me to the land. But let's get into the match here. Oh, I'm interested to see how this will turn out, because Squidvly is rocking, both sides rocking the hook halt combo, which has been really popular actually. But we're looking at the Junkrat May with the Lucio Mercy. A lot of damage, a lot of potential to kind of trap and slow, and then that speed boost. But then you're also looking at Ash McCree, a lot of long range damage coming from Evil here.
It's very true. And honestly, with as much Orisa and Hog play, I wonder if it's like they're all trying to commemorate this for me as the Orisa player on my stream, and I'm really thoroughly happy about it, as there's a beautiful halt bringing them down to the low ground. Gilgamesh is having to play super careful, though, on the front side, as a lot of damage comes in now, making sure that they can refresh it. The hook just going to be dodged, but will at least gain the pull onto Relic, but the numbers advantage still in favor of Evil right now, as Squids are most likely going to have to fall back here. They've managed to be a little bit overrun, looking to try and stagger around the outside. Soggy, the last one remaining, as they're going to have to force a regroup here, and was at least able to take Geek Bones with him. If you're going down, I'm taking you with me, friend. What an early halt play coming out from Urgalicious.
Getting Soggy getting that little extra bit there at the end. I do want to say that there's unspoken rule that every team has to play Orisa in honor of Rich. I'm sorry that you had to find out like this.
Goodness!
But you know, better late than never.
Is this a legit thing? Because now I'm thoroughly impressed, as we now have the High Noon gaining the triple. Unbelievable job. The quad as well. There's the 5 kill. My goodness, just leading the way on the side of Evil at 40% and still climbing. And at this point, they still have some decent ult charge on the side of Squidflea, though, to kind of bring into this next fight.
Not bad from Fallen Light there, from a guy that said he was suckered into playing this tournament. It is interesting stuff about himself. He was bamboozled. He didn't know what he signed up for. Honestly, that High Noon was well positioned. There was nothing to do about it. But that double hit scan doing a lot of work.
It really is, and now they're going to rain damage too by this Junkrat. You see Cutlays on the front side getting that Riptire available, as now you see it going to be used on the high ground, trying to find some value. The Blizzard in the back does gain 2 onto Urgalicious and a Geek. Great job, as they now have the chance to turn it back around on the high ground. The flashbang in the backside, but it's not going to be enough here by Fallen, I think, as they will look to take it back at 80% and will have at least potentially the sound barrier coming in closely by Kicky Feet.
Which it's going to have to get a lot of value from that sound barrier going into this fight. They really used a lot of ultimates to cap there. So it'll be a tough uphill battle for Fleas in this next fight, just considering their ult economy has been reset.
And you see at least now 4 ultimates coming up for the side of Evil. Looking for a halt, getting a nice pick onto Soggy, just trying to maneuver them around that shield, as it's an early pick onto Fallen. That's very beneficial for the side of Squid. If they can take down that really hard-hitting hit scan that we've seen do countless times here, it's going to be into their favor. They're most likely going to have to retreat here by the side of Evil to wait for that regroup.
And that's a late coalescence as well. And exactly what I was talking about, or what we were talking about, was that Squidfleas had a low ult economy going into that fight, while Evil kind of had more ults, but they used 3 ults from that fight and they got no value from it. That was really well handled defensively there.
And you see almost another Riptire. That's what they really want to try and use to their advantage. Just so much damage raining and breaking through that shield. The shred is absolutely insane on the side of Squid, with the halt just going to fall short. There's the aggression with the Mei in the back, but now completely separated. But Goblin getting the wall, able to at least get a little bit to that survival with the Riptire in the back. Does go down by Fallen, as Bob will start to do some work on the side from Clockwork, as the Dynamite comes in just behind the shield, looking to press on, since Bob finally does remove himself from the engagement, as now it's Soggy in the back, trying to utilize that Orisa, the Fortified, to stick through the damage, but Fallen once again just really tumbling around here and just getting a lot of free shots without having any major control of him.
Yeah, and Soggy's able to get that extra little bit of percentage there, and honestly, looking at Squidfleas, it seems like kind of the victory condition for them is to get ultimates, to get this Blizzard online and get that Riptire online. Unfortunately, didn't get the value out of it in that last fight, and they weren't able to turn it in their favor. But it'll be interesting to see if he can get it up this next fight. That Blizzard is up, though.
And you see the High Noon coming out. Can they get it? They do get the double. Cannot manage to stand behind the shield on the high ground, looking for the collapse, as the self-destruct will be there. But no, they managed to gain 2 themselves. Coalescence to lead the way now on the side of Evil, starting to force them back, as Illuminate is getting back into the mech to cause some pressure. Getting Urgalicious very low, does get the kill, as the Supercharger is looking to give some assistance onto these supports. And Fallen trying to do everything possible on this point. The defense matrix available to withstand the incoming shots, as the flashbang gets the Winston super low, but can't get the kill. Beautiful swap coming out by Soggy, along with the assistance from Illuminated, and still the remaining members of the supports just continuing to hold on to this. They are not done yet. The Deadeye in the back managing to get the kill, but ooh! Great counter by Illuminated, but will get demeched as the whole hog comes out from the side of Evil. Continuing to go underway, the Riptire not going to do too much. That might just be enough here for Evil to finally push them back, but Squid Fleas not letting them take this easily.
No, not at all there. Honestly, it took some immense heroic plays from Evil to kind of win that last fight right there. It really looked like it was going in Squid Flea's favor. That Blizzard was huge. You got 3 in it. You were able to get 2 kills off of it, but honestly, just the Fallen Light's ability to stay alive and produce great high noons, and not to mention Relic, that whole hog being able to knock that Winston off the map really kind of sealed the deal in that last fight for them.
And we're gonna get to see the downtown map, which we haven't seen just yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they're gonna play these high grounds here, along with managing that initial choke point for where the engage is gonna start from the neutral territory of not having any ultimates with 30 seconds until the control point does become active, with a little bit, I think, of an alteration here. And actually, they're gonna stick very close to what their original compositions were.
Yeah, it looks like for the most part staying the same. I think the only difference I see is, I believe Illuminated was... No, Illuminated was on the Diva last
Yes,
time.
indeed. And an
immediately
early demect is just unreal. They had the positional advantage because of Kicky Feet with the Lucio, but unfortunately lost that character early. But Illuminated managing to come back in there, looking to collapse onto it. Huge turnaround with Soggy going down, but the damage is done. The Reinhardt swinging away as the May will lock down the remaining few members, but Fallen has to tuck tail and run, but will get taken down by an icicle to the face.
Gutsy Goblin's wall positioning there was perfect.
True.
Was able to kind of seal off part of the team. Illuminated kind of plays the martyr on that one, loses the mech, but to sacrifice for that wall to get into place. You know what I want to see on this map, Rich? Particularly, you said we haven't seen this one yet. I want to see somebody get hit by the train. I know that's mean. That's mean of me, but I want to see someone get knocked off into the train.
I'm just thinking mathematically of what the probability of is that happened, but ooh, there's an Earth Shatter to follow regardless of the hook. Beautiful job by Soggy finding that vantage point, but I don't think there's going to be enough to follow it up, as the numbers of a full 6 stack from Evil will look to collapse. Now having the Riptire on the high ground, probably could have held on to it, but does get 2 in the back. They might be able to still play this with that numbers advantage. The Junkrat just unloading as you see the Deadeye gaining 2 as they switch it back at 45%.
Kind of Fallen Light taking any ult you can do, I can do better right there. That Shatter was perfect for SoggyDog. Unfortunately, they couldn't have that Riptire just about 5 seconds earlier. The follow-up just wasn't there. Squid Flea's kind of doing an all or nothing play. Unfortunately, didn't pan out this time.
And now, again, they're reaching that decent percentage of now they're starting to come back and get close to where Squid Fleas is. But they are at a good position with the Blizzard. They still have the 2 support ultimates. Will actually drop it, looking to see if they can get the advantage, looking to lock them down. Few members going to be picked off here as the Coalescence gives the extra boosted damage, wanting to use it offensively more so versus the defensive, as they will force this team back. And this is like what you were saying. They really like to utilize the ultimates in these fights to gain the advantage.
Definitely, and I mean, the way Gutsy Goblin is throwing them out there, those Mailts are on point today. Is really able to lock down. I believe I saw 4 people stuck on that Blizzard right there, able to easily finish up those kills. I have to think, though, with this Riptire about to come online, Evil's going to have their work cut out for him in this next fight.
And it's really going to... Oh, and the Earth Shatter does manage to come through by Soggy. The collapse. Unbelievable job finding another opportunity. The separation onto Urgalicious as Illuminated cleans up an entire team kill here. And Squid Fleas now starting to gain their momentum.
That's tough. If you're Evil right there, that is rough. They didn't have to throw in sound barrier, no Riptire, and they were able to get a team wipe for free just with the Earth Shatter.
Awesome, as they have the Coalescence leading the way now, trying to persevere through it with a Supercharger, managing to get a lot of pressure onto Soggy, as you do see Kicky on the back trying to give some assistance. The Riptire on the front side will get taken down, though, by the great Helix rocket placement by Fallen, starting to drop down, but not just yet out of the fight. They most likely will have to clear off this since they've reached that 99% marker, and going to give it now back to Evil to regroup as they have 2 ultimates, soon to be once again, though, with the 3 as Gutsy Goblin has the Blizzard.
That'll be the win, the victory condition right here, is if Gutsy Goblin, who's going low, can get this Blizzard off how they want to. I just want to point out Fallen Light, that amazing Helix rocket, but not only... Oh, Gutsy Goblin in the back gets stunned and finished off by Fallen Light.
That's going to buy some time here for them, but you want to see now they're playing respectively. Soggy, along with Illuminated, leading the front line as these tanks know that they cannot afford to go in on this, and they are playing as much as they can here to at least help generate some ult charge, not only for Soggy, but also for Cut as well.
Yeah, try to get that Riptire up. Also, that last fight, Urgalicious just hard W keyed threw the supercharger down on top of his enemy tank and just killed everybody.
And now here comes Goblin once again collapsing on the high ground. Will now all of a sudden be slightly choppy for us. Apologies about that connection, as we will have to try and fix this, as there is now a hard error for Overwatch, as we are unfortunately going to lose all observation of this game, as it will be what we did not expect. But a hard crash on the side of this match. So we will give it just a brief moment here to see if we can reconnect, as there is again a hard disconnect that we will just go to a brief break for a moment, and we'll be back with you shortly.
But unfortunately was not enough in the end. Evil able to take the map. But we're going to work to get that situated and just take a moment while everybody's picking out the next map.
Yes, indeed. I think I am finally back, as I am trying to help get situated here. Are you able to hear me, good friend?
Yes, I am. See, unfortunately, the stream had to hear just me for about 30 seconds, and it was terrible. I think I heard them all cover their ears.
No, I guarantee you that that is completely false, and you did a fantastic job, because you are a part of my community, and I know you persevered through the difficult moments that we are having, which we will now try to fix at the current moment. So if for whatever reason during the stream there was a quick delay, scuffle, or sound mishap, if you can just give a little bit of a rundown towards the end of what happened there and who did claim victory if they did not see it live on the stream.
All right, so if we had a little kerfuffle there, Evil was able to take that last team fight. Unfortunately, the Blizzard just not getting quite enough, and they were able to take the map with that, with some pretty good tank play, honestly, from Urgalicious. Urgalicious playing very aggressive, able to get into people's faces, and Fallen Light able to finish those kills. But I did want to point out, after the fact, Fallen Light with a very, very nice high noon kind of Deadeye play of the game, but that May play from Gutsy Goblin.
Agreed.
13 Blizzard eliminations.
Yes.
Was incredible all the way throughout. Really have to give credit to both teams. Those were hard-fought maps and a very close series.
Yeah, and like I said, I do apologize for those. I have no idea why we had a hard crash on Overwatch for whatever reason, as it looks like we will continue like he had just said, Gilgamesh being the MVP right now, with RichRad trying to manage so much simultaneously with my lovely caster along with Unieveth and so many other members. So greatly appreciate you being very understanding, as we are looking to go into, it looks like Junkertown from my understanding.
Junkertown looks like... Yes, Soggy and Squidflea did decide to do Junkertown. Junkertown is another very interesting map. We saw a lot of kind of bunkery comps, a lot of pirate ship on this map. Bastion is very fond choice for a lot of teams on this map.
Yes, definitely. And honestly, I would not be surprised to see it, because it's one of those things where pirate ship, especially now with the Baptiste to their advantage, it can play even more of a fortified position onto that payload. You were very correct.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. Could be a very, very strong comp. Very hard to deal with, especially with as much as we're seeing Orisa Roadhog. That just complements that comp wholeheartedly. So it'll be really interesting to see what teams will bust out here.
Definitely. And it looks like I think we are getting back into this. It will be one last ready check for the caster of RichRad, as we now have everyone getting this underway, as we will go right into that game on Junkertown. And it looks like
I'm
we will...
excited to see Escort, though.
Yes, I really am as well. And we are going to see Evil now on this map on the attacking side, with Squidflea on the defensive side here to try and see if they can hold back. And, you know, honestly, with this type of... I'm like you said, with the Orisa Roadhog, I'm not surprised if we would see it. And I know that you said that everybody agreed to play the Orisa. I'm not sure if like that's a legitimate thing, but I wouldn't be also surprised to see that, you know, Reinhardt Zarya play that we did see slightly by Soggy having the Reinhardt. That was a really great number of ultimates and value gained out of that.
Listen, if we see a game where there isn't a Orisa play, then you just give me their BattleNet and their Discord, and I'll have a private conversation, make sure that they're, you know, they got the memo. Just because.
I mean, the ban hammer will be real.
The
ban hammer will be real.
I mean, you just play Orisa. Just play Orisa. There's nothing. Just play it.
Right? It just has to happen. And it looks like we are going to have a brief pause for the moment. It might be a connection issue. We are going to hold it for just a second. But, you know, as we can kind of take a moment, we'll leave it here on this pause screen to kind of talk about the compositions. Is actually, we will need to reset it because that now is, we're going to take it all over again.
Somebody was not in their proper birthday outfit.
There we go.
They did not get into the proper skin.
I mean, honestly, as this sign says, take away, we will take them away so that they can change, or they're going to be closed for business. I'm sorry. I tried. I tried with what was given in front of me on the camera, and we're going to make it work. So, as we have 15 seconds to go, and now I'm getting...
I got it.
And now getting into that proper wardrobe for this scene. I mean, it's like me back when I was in theater. I mean, every once in a while I'd be like, yeah, let's just do a rehearsal where I'm like in the proper clothing. And then you're just like halfway through rehearsals and you're like, I hate every minute of this because I would have rather just waited to the live show. But as we see here on the attacking side, we will keep that Evil coming out first. And on the defense, Squidfleece with still the Junkrat play, which I have to say, in addition to not only the Mei play, it's been a lot of added value with the Riptire.
Definitely. Like, just the ultimates in general from Squidflea have been very good, and they've been very good about their team comps to kind of synergize ults and put together a composition that can get the most out of the hero. It's kind of interesting because, I mean, it's definitely still very different, but it's really interesting to see the Mei on so many maps kind of vaguely reminds me of a little bit of the Clockwork composition, though we haven't seen a Torb yet, which I would pay good money to see a Torb on one of these maps.
I'm not going to lie, I would as well, and we will get a little bit more into that a little bit later, so some people who do not know the Clockwork, but as we do see this team of Evil pressing out, they've got a great position. Not going to see the Bastion here, though, as they have a duo support, duo DPS, and duo tank with the Orisa Zarya, as Urgalicious gets very low, but they're rotating their protective abilities very well here.
I'll be really interested to see how Relic performs on this one. Hanzo definitely a feast or famine hero, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get the value out of it.
And Soggy getting a nice early pick. You do see an exchange, though, 1-for-1, as they will have a little bit of an advantage on the side of Evil just because of how close that spawn is for them, while Gutsy is going to have to run so far in distance. Fallen just completely dominating on this front side now with the Deadeye coming out, as they do manage to get the double with the additional kill, triple in total, turning this corner, and they just did a fantastic job breaking down this defensive hold. And now it's going to look to maybe have one last opportunity to contest as Squidfleece looks for a solid regroup, hoping to get Kiki and Soggy back in time.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they try to make a recontest here. Fallen on that McCree is able to kind of separate off the Mei and the Junkrat, get both kills on them, and generate a high noon in the first minute.
Yeah, and that's just unbelievably fast. I mean, to find that much value in their just positional advantage, generating that ultimate, getting the double kill, especially through that choke point where there's a lot of things preventing the sightline here, as you do see the even exchange for ultimates going to have now that high ground. Riptire looking for the back. Can they get it through the door? Does get the double just in time, managing to, as the immortality field comes out. Here's the follow-up, though, as you see the switch with Illuminated just continuing to collapse with Soggy on that tank synergy. A nice pin in the backside, as they're going to have to force this team of Evil back, and they want to regroup right now.
I have to say both teams' tank duos have synergized pretty well. I've seen Soggy and Illuminated get off some really nice combination plays. I've also seen Urgalicious and Vlargle really kind of when they're playing the Orisa Hog, they got some nice hook halts.
And you now have the grab ready on the side of Evil. The ultimate's stacking up, as they will unfortunately lose Urgalicious. They have the res as well onto Kiki, so they have the numbers. The Earth Shatter gonna come out, no shield, the hook in addition, as now this is again Squid Flea's game right now. Just completely collapsing. The grab's gonna come out in the backside though by the Blargle, the Deadeye, the Synergy, the Dragon Strike. They might have just turned it immediately back around in their favor, and quite a lot of ultimates committed to this as the Riptire generated. Can they find it? Does get the Immortality Field and Relic, but they still turned this into their favor and are continuing to push this payload on the side of Evil.
And honestly, for a second there, before that High Noon came out, I thought that grab was not going to get any value off, but Evil able to just use just enough ults, and this fight's starting to stagger out into just a little bit of respawns here and there. It'll be interesting to see if they both back off, which looks like they might. That Maywall kind of getting that separation.
Yeah, it's causing a lot of harass, and they need to be careful of it because they don't want to get separated, just like you saw Fallen for a brief moment get collapsed on, but survive by the tumble around the wall. But Blizzard is available, and playing the high ground by Gutsy is extremely critical for them. And now going to get halted down. Great response coming out by Urgalicious to keep that pressure and prevent them from getting that consistent ultimate to be dropped down by the Blizzard, as they're just going to continue to kind of stagger this out with the Supercharger, Gil.
Yeah, like you said, Gutsy just up there trying to get that Maywall and then gets that Blizzard off. That's amazingly well placed right there.
And you're going to see
like
them.
This might be another team.
And they're going to follow up on it too. They just have the chance. But Fallen again, the consistent plays, beautiful job. And that position again was so much into Evil's favor just underneath.
Yeah, and Squid Flea is able to get a lot of value out of their ultimates, but honestly, you have to give credit to Evil on their just ability to fall back and to pull away from those ults, get away with that AoE effect, and come back in just as strong with that High Noon and with that Supercharger still up.
Very much so, and they have 3 minutes and 40 seconds. They have a decent amount of time going into this last push as you get some shots coming out by Fallen, almost able to take down Cut on the high ground there with that Junkrat play, but playing very cautiously on the low ground, just finding some shots, but still not going to be brought down. And just this consistent back and forth continuing to happen as the Earth Shatter now finally comes out by Illuminated, seeing if they can get the charge in the back. Does get stunned by the Brick, will go down, and now you see Squid Fleas at the disadvantage with Fallen still finding so much value, Gil.
Yeah, unfortunately disadvantage there, but again, I have to wonder if Squid Flea can land a shatter that isn't at least 3 people.
True.
All of their shatters between Soggy and Illuminated have been massive shatters. They just haven't really had the follow-up there. I have to say, though, really keep an eye on Clockwork on that Baptiste. That Blizzard before, and then again a little bit here. Just really that Immortality Field getting a ton of value.
And the combination also, in addition, between Relic along with Evil is very well, but the Riptire with the Dragon Strike, double to double on back ults, as it will be a great exchange. The Red's going to come out onto Illuminated, so they will have the Reinhardt back as they start to shred through this shield, with the High Noon coming out now by Fallen on the back. Can they find a high ground position? Gets so close, but beautiful evasion on the side of Squinfly with the Junkrat on the high ground, continuing to dodge and weave between that as they see the nice collapse. There's the halt, but no! Cut gets the advantage. 2 minutes still to go, as they might just be able to stabilize with the respawn advantage in favor of Squid Fleas.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to stabilize here on another good Riptire. Honestly, if Cut had gotten a couple Riptires about 5 seconds earlier on Busan, just with the value that they're getting out of these, that map could have gone the other direction, and here they use it to stabilize. Now switching, staying with a double shield composition. I'll be really interested to see how this works out for them. That's a lot of shield.
And you do see still a lot of damage being mitigated by Illuminated. The rally with the armor, like you said, consistently going to assist them as they press forward. They do have the high ground advantage now with the amplification matrix soaking so much damage on this lower corridor that they're just going to completely flank. Now in the backside, you do see the Mercy forcing the Valkyrie, trying to survive, but too little too late, as it's only Guts on the high ground, still trying to find some available opportunity to damage with that 76, but it's going to be real close here for them, Gil.
Yeah, it's definitely stall time for Squid Flea at this point.
Oh!
It's really amazing. Oh.
And the Supercharger comes out, giving the extra damage, looking to clean up Fallen, now rotating from one hit scan to the next to demonstrate that comfortability factor that we've seen as a DPS player here.
And we actually got to see... got to switch off of the Mei there onto the Soldier. I wish I could have seen a little bit more of that Soldier. 111, not a terrible time for both sides there. I will say that last fight, Evil did a very good job of splitting Squid Fleas. You had two people up on the high ground on the rotating wheel kind of, and they were able to split off Soggy and Illuminated on those tanks into the lower section and just eliminate them while the rest of the team was kind of helpless to get around and assist them.
Very, very true. And I mean, now that we're going to see the switch here between these two teams, it will be now again, one of the biggest factors, and they've probably come across it, that Fallen has just been given a lot of space. And I know they haven't really played the dive composition here just because they've played very strongly on both the Reinhardt, on the Orisa, on the Roadhog, on, you know, that just consistent rotation of the three that they've had. And it's not to say that they shouldn't switch, but actually Soggy's going to look like they might just switch onto that Winston play, which would be beneficial to them.
Yeah, I'm interested now. Okay, so they're running. Oh, okay. Illuminated switching onto the Junkrat. Oh, there's a lot of composition changes. So they're actually going to the Rein Zarya again with the Junkrat Mei, but they swapped their Zarya and Junkrat players. So this will be something to keep an eye on. It looks like Evil kind of going with that similar comp that they attacked with at the end, adding this relic on that Hanzo again. We'll see how much value he can get.
And it looks like they'll switch last minute. Soggy going to go from the Winston onto the Reinhardt. Again, they do feel comfortable with that play between the two of them. If they can get that harass onto Fallen, and Fallen's actually going to stick onto that 76 just because it has worked very well before, but a nice displacement here coming out from that Junkrat play on the side of Squid Fleas. Still looking to push through here, but they just want to find an early pick. Clockwork having to fall back and just really holding off until this skirmish can really begin.
Oh, Relic off to the side. Unfortunately gets froze and finished off there. 1-for-1 trades. We'll see how the rest of this fight goes, though.
And you see Kiki looking to get some nice shielding, but the charge out by Soggy a little bit too aggressive. They get the res, though, onto Illuminated, and they have the rotation now as Cutlass is looking to switch onto that Zarya. Like I said, just a little bit of a variation, seeing if they can open up that channel of opportunity with the compositions, but still, Fallen getting so much damage on the side of Evil that they are just really putting so much resource to him.
Honestly, yeah, they're really pocketing, but I mean, for the damage and value he's getting out, it makes sense. Gutsy being an assassin out there. Ooh, coming out the attack visor.
And they do get a lot of damage, but there is a lot preventing it, actually. The wall going to come up by Gutsy. Great play to just narrow that sightline. They do at least get the Helix Rocket onto Kiki Feet, taking out a support, but Urgalicious was brought down by Gutsy, and so they have at least some opportunity to force this back, since it's really only the Blargle on the Zarya here.
And here comes the Riptire as well to kind of finish this fight off.
And you do just see them nicely cleaning up here. Great pressure. And it's very typical to see this early point, once they start to get a few of those kills, that they can just have such a better advantage to reach this point because, like we talked about earlier, in the reverse side, where the distance to retreat or to regroup, to contest it, is very long and very far.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably one of the, I would say one of the longer ones in the game. It's definitely a very long walk. Oh, Fallen with that initial pick will definitely kind of reset Squid Flea's time there a bit. It'll be interesting to see how this Grav goes. They got Grav Blizzard coming into this next fight, though.
And it's going to be very important. I almost think that they maybe need to try and really stagger it, and if anything, really focus just on the Blizzard, see what they can gain out of it, and if they need the extra push potential, it will be by Still with the Valkyrie, but Gutsy getting very aggressive. They get the res onto Soggy, so they have the numbers advantage. Still, because they've managed to take down Fallen, grabbing the backside. Here comes now the Blizzard, but I believe it's actually not going to be used. Correction, it will, but not going to gain any value here because it's going to be halted. Unbelievable job, but still Squid Fleas come out on top.
Both Gravs get traded there, but Evil isn't able to capitalize on their Grav as much as Squid Flea is. Like you said, that Blizzard going a little too far behind them, but the Grav is just good enough where they're able to finish those kills anyways.
And still 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and they're going to add on the time bank here. They are actually in a very good position, far surpassing the position that Evil had by a minute and a half, actually.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot here, especially if you look at their ult economy as well. You're rolling with the Riptire, the Sound Barrier, and the Earth. Ooh, early pick, though. Like I said, that Hanzo really feast or famine. Hasn't been able to get as much value out of it before this, but that headshot right there could set them back.
And they have the Dragon Strike. They're trying to find an opportunity. Tactical Visor going to be forced. I feel like that it's not going to gain nearly as much. Ooh, and the pick coming out by Relic, taking out Kicky Feet. As we see from that point of view with a nice collapse here in the back. You do see a charge, though, by Soggy, looking to try and give some assistance. Does get the break, but a little overextended. They do have the ultimate, trying to out... Oh, and the melee by Fallen. Almost could have countered it, but again, this is where they have still some time to work with. 4 minutes, a lot at their advantage right now.
Soggy with the bravest charge I think I've ever seen. Like you mentioned earlier, they do have that Dragon Strike, which could be useful. They're about 50% to that grab, so you could potentially use it now and try to get another one for the grab, do a grab-dragon combo. But swiftly coming up here, they're on 4 ults with a Valk almost online.
And that's really important.
In the same position.
Yeah, no, the Valk is really important, as you were just mentioning it, and that's going to give them that 5 stack of ultimates, which is very much a benefit to them. As we've said, even when we were on Busan, that they utilized it, the Earth Shatter, but the Fortify is there with now the Blizzard unloading so many ultimates from both sides to see if they can get the damage follow, but no, nobody there to do enough on the backside. You see Guts looking to do so much, but will get picked off here as the Riptire hopes to now at least turn it back a little bit more into their favor, only gaining 1 with the follow-up here by Cut, correction, as they still keep this payload moving here, Gilgamesh.
That fight, Gutsy unable to eliminate that immortality field. Again, that Baptiste play almost wins him that fight one more time. The Blizzard gets no kills, but that Riptire coming out, that 1-2 combo has really won them a lot of fights.
I agree, very much so. And you see the Blargle trying to get some energy here in the back, almost nearing that Graviton, moving this payload forward. They're at a good time bank here, so they can have the advantage going into this, but still being forced back. Nice pick onto Fallen. That is critical for the side of Squidfleas, as the wall will still give them some advantage. Rally now on the defensive position, trying to get the collapse, does take down Soggy. That is now unfortunately not in their favor, but the Immortality Field manages to hold it. The Graviton as well, the wall to give some separation, but the Dragon Strike going to claim 2, as that's a full reset now, as Still is going to have to try and regroup with the rest of the Squidfleas.
And like we talked about earlier, they're able to get that Grab Dragon combo online. Relic holding those dragons until Blargle caught up with that Zarya. I wanted to point out something, like maybe a little minor, but Still Got Legs, I think, has gotten every single one of her reses off.
Agreed.
She's been able to res in some really just positions you wouldn't think that she'd be able to get them off, but has. I just want to compliment that good positioning and job well done.
Ooh, and you see that head-to-head battle on the high ground. Fallen having to retreat, almost getting picked off, running into the trap. The grenades continuing to fly back and forth between those 2 DPS members as the Earth Shatter now comes out, claiming 2. Illuminated on the low ground is going to get taken down. Unfortunately, his Kicky Feet follows very closely, and now they will have to retreat. Unfortunately, Still is going to utilize the Valkyrie, but they do still have 4, going to be 5 ultimates on the side of Squid, with only really having 2 going into this on the side of Evil.
This is their fight. This is Squidflea's fight to finish this map right now. They need to execute with these 5 ultimates. They're going against almost none. They're going to be a High Noon and potentially Baptiste ultimate coming up, but that's it from Evil.
Now having to push forward, the amplification matrix is there for the extra boost. Now here comes Fallen with the Deadeye, and the flank does get the 2 in addition to Gutsy, as they still hold on to the ultimates though. 60 seconds. They have no ult on the side of Evil, and this is where Squidfleet truly has to take advantage, not only because of the ultimate economy, but because it's their last chance, as Fallen almost gets the pick onto Still Got Legs.
That would have been absolutely debilitating for them. That would have been pushing them into a last-ditch speed boost kind of fight. But now they get another chance at it. They have these 4 ultimates now, not the Shatter anymore coming into this. They really have to pick their battle here and just decide how they want to use these.
And you see Fallen on the high ground looking to be sneaky, trying to find that damage overhead, looking for the supports, but they do get a lot of pressure coming out by Gutsy, acknowledging that McCree is on the high ground. Here comes the Riptire by Illuminated, trying to find it, but no, gets taken down by Relic. That's going to shut it out, as now you see Fallen still dealing damage overhead. It will be Illuminated, taking at least 1. Now the 2nd, now the 3rd, the quad! Illuminated popping off on the Junkrat, managing to push him as Gutsy gets the kill. Looking to get back onto the payload. They have a few seconds to go. an entire team kill. Urgalicious now switching onto the wrecking ball. Can they get there in time to buy it for a few more seconds? They do, as the rally will be in assistance. Just under 2 meters, the sound barrier coming out by the Lucio with the soggy Earth Shatter needing to be placed very well if they can regroup. The respawn advantage in favor of Evil. This might just be it now for the side, shutting it down. They managed to get it between the bubble from the Winston with the charge potential as the immortality field does go down, still causing it illuminated in the back. Relic gonna gain one, now looking for the second, can't get it. The triple has illuminated all alone. Remaining member, can he somehow pull off another miraculous play here to complete it as the overtime ticks away, and they are just going to fall short here as Evil will claim the map of Junkertown just barely by the skin of their teeth, claiming victory over Squid Fleas.
Play of the game.
That last fight embodied what Hanzo was for me. That was the feast. Relic feasted that whole last fight, getting 2 initial picks that staggered their respawns and gave Evil enough time to come back in and contest that. And then at the end, that Dragon Strike. You couldn't get much more value out of that. I want to highlight again, Clockwork saving 3 more lives on another big Earth Shatter with that Immortality Field. Really using that cooldown to its max potential.
And I do just have to say that even though Evil won, Squid Fleas with so many great plays at the tail end of that quad kill by Illuminated, without the ultimate, mind you, was nutty. I still can't even believe that. So commendable on all fronts. And I am extremely, extremely grateful for that. As again, we will just take a quick look now into what the map pool was. For those that might have been tuning in a little bit late, you did see Evil claim the first map and the second map here, as they will be moving on. As you can see in the bracket, they will be moving forward to go against Inevitable, which now, as we've said, Gilgamesh is the team of the rest of your members. And I cannot wait to see how this is going to go. You got a little bit of an insight, so that'll help you.
A little bit of scouting. We'll know who to look out for.
But I can tell you right now that with going into that, you have one heck of a fight coming up between these teams, and I am looking forward to it. Again, it has been an absolute pleasure casting with you today, and I am looking forward to seeing you now as a player for the remaining portion of the tournament moving on. And it's been absolutely a pleasure, and I can't tell you, like I said, how thankful I am. And with all of the technical difficulties and things that are being handled simultaneously, you have been fantastic, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me, Rich. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you worked with me as somebody that's a little new to this. I'm glad I was able to come on. I had a great time, and I'll say both these matches were 2-0s, but they were extremely competitive, and the tournament's been a blast so far to watch and cast, and I'm looking forward to playing it now.
And I, like I said, I'm grateful to have had, you feel comfortable enough to come to me and ask if you'd like to do it, and it's an absolute pleasure. Everybody starts somewhere. Trust me, this was me, a year and a half ago, where it was having 2 viewers casting random games where I thought people were gonna literally just talk crap to me all the time. But no,
look at all of us.
It totally brought a lovely community tournament just as this. So again, now since we will have a caster swap in this, we will go to a little bit lengthier of a break just so we can get prepared having the next teams. And as you can see, I'll bring that bracket up one more time, as the next match will be Scooby versus Shake and Bake at the 9 p.m. Central Time. Don't go anywhere. Definitely keep tuning in, as we will get it up and running as quickly as possible, situate ourselves, and do not be surprised by a little bit of silence on the stream, just so we can have some background testing that we will handle and come back with you very shortly, everybody. And we'll see you soon.
Orisa Online.
In 2018, we witnessed one man begin the climb as an Overwatch caster. The adventure began with quick play casting, where RichRad brought a new level of excitement and intensity to the casual and competitive gamer, making every quick play feel as if you were a pro.
Doomfist though to contest against it. Supercharger now going to be joined in conjunction with it to try and get the extra damage. Coalescence to force them back. Jet's going to be overwhelmed as the support's going to get picked off. Triple kill with Soggy dominating on the front.
During RichRad's growth in the competitive Overwatch scene, he accelerated through small community tournaments, leading him to cast Open Division and even gained the opportunity to commentate Tier 2 Chinese Overwatch contenders. With his consistent growth and loyal community, it's finally time for RichRad to bring the excitement here for you today.
Hello and welcome everybody, as we are now getting back into this once again. It will be the third match of the night. We have seen Bike Racks claim 2-0 along with Evil claiming 2-0 earlier, as we will get now the team of Mystery Inc. along with Shake and Bake battling it out for this next match. And I am here accompanied by the amazing caster Sir Waltham, who I am so very grateful to have, since I was able to cast with him in another community tournament, which you've seen many a posts for. How are you doing, my friend, today?
Rich, I'm doing pretty well. I actually just got off of the back end of another cast, so it feels like we're both pretty warmed up. Glad to be here. Really excited. I love doing community tournaments. I'm ready to get into it.
Yes, no worries. I am looking forward to it as well. Quite the hectic amount of things to manage, but we are still going to bring you as much excitement as we can, as it looks like I said, it will be Mystery Inc. versus Shake and Bake. Now, again, with this, we've even have a little bit of intel about this team, that apparently Mystery Inc. is having the Scooby-Dooby-Doo Where Are You soundtrack playing the entire time during their comm communication, just because they are so dedicated to it, because they not only have a player named Scooby, but also Shaggy as well. I know that you haven't been able to, come across too many of the members since in the community, because I know you have so many other opportunities with your, local community casting as well. But it's going to be hopefully quite a great cast between the two of these teams. And we're going to be going on Busan first. So just so people, if they've come in a little late, so you can go ahead and see it, it will be Busan first, and then we will go into Assault. So that's what we've seen so far. We've had back-to-back wins so far, and I'm curious to see what these teams are going to bring out. And, let's get a little bit more of elaboration on what you think we'll see going in onto Busan.
Busan's kind of a tricky one for me. It's, when you talk about other King of the Hill maps or control point maps, Lijiang, Ilios, Oasis, they often have many different sub-maps that kind of can be played in a whole bunch of different ways. But for Busan, it's, if I remember, if memory serves, it's one of the newer control point maps, and it's never been one of those that has a strictly defined, oh, this comp is extremely proficient in it.
Very
Ilios
true.
Ruins, they have a lot of long sight lines. Sniper's really good there. Ilios Well, the Pit, a lot of pole CC comps can be really efficiently used there. But there's nothing like that really stands out for Busan to me. And it's a little bit disappointing. There's not even, something that kind of implies they can really break away from the meta too strongly. I think it ultimately comes down to kind of what the teams are comfortable with, as well as, you know, what's the most reasonable given how the characters are balanced.
I agree with you, and you know, it's one of those things, especially like for the downtown region. They do have those high ground vantage points where we sometimes see a lot of hit scan. We see the hover over for, you know, the Ashe player because of that Viper shot. They can get that high ground positioning, or typically a Widowmaker, so there is a lot there. They also have these close middle ground positions where this Bridgeway is to cause a lot of harass with what we've already seen earlier with a Junkrat or even a Mei. So coming out here, it looks like we will see Mystery Inc. on the side of blue with Shake and Bake on the right, as they see a nice Ryan Zarya combination and seeing a reflection of at least the tank composition moving out here.
Yeah, we're going to definitely be seeing that. I'm looking forward to, oh, wow, some immediate kills going through already. That's going to be a little bit rough onto the side of Mystery Inc.
And you're going to see Stargaze as well get very low, but they have done a great job fueling that player with the health value to make sure that they can survive. But no, Dire able to get one here onto the side of Mystery Inc. with that just aggressive play. So many low, though. Shaggy coming in with the triple, the unbelievable dynamite damage with the follow-up, as they have the chance to continue just dealing significant damage onto the team of Shake and Bake.
Yeah, it was a really crucial res that Scooby got onto Shaggy. Shaggy, the first pick in that situation, then coming back up. And then we saw that pop-off where they got those 3 kills almost in a row. So really, that's where you know how your bread's buttered, and you know where you got to invest your resources.
And you see the ultimate coming up too already on Rivers. They have that amplification matrix, soon to have the Earth Shatter. So even though they did lose the fight, they're, I feel, slightly just ahead in the ultimate economy right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be the case. And they're going to have to be playing for, or the attacking team, Mystery Inc., that has a little bit of a reprieve here. They're going to have the Bob, so that way if things go a little bit out of their favor, they're going to have that contest power coming through from the giant Omnic Butler.
And they're going to drop it quickly. There's the Earth Shatter, going to get blocked. Immortality Field as well, nicely placed, but Shaggy getting another triple kill, quad kill on the front, as they will see a 5-kill stack with Darth getting a follow-up here, as they get an entire team kill, and the hyper focus now is definitely going to be on Shaggy.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. Shaggy's been performing too well to not have them be a main concern if you're on the side of Shake and Bake. That being said, Darth Squid having this Dragon Blade up might be crucial if they're able to get some crucial picks, or Shaggy can just take out the Baptiste.
Yes, and that has the quick res on it. Some guy managing to get Rivers up quickly. That is very important, as they have now the Hanzo on the upper side. Here comes the Deadeye in the back looking to find some value as the Immortality Field, but the Dragon Blade by Darth Squid cleaning in the backside, managing to get so much push and just completely cleaning up there once again, unfortunately, as they do still now look to potentially have Ryu on that Dragon Strike ultimate, with now Shang also nearing that Graviton available.
Yeah, and that was, you know, not too expensive of a fight for Mystery Inc. either. Dark Squid and Spanky, the only ones using any ults in there. I guess Dark Squid got so sick of us talking about Scooby being the one popping off that they wanted to get some action as well.
And you do see Dire now getting an early pick though onto Darth. Nice shield rotation. Shang is going to go down, still having at least the numbers advantage in favor of Mystery Inc. They will get a lot of value. The Dragon Strike going to come through though by Ryu, trying to get some flanking position to maybe try to turn it back around, as it's 99-0 at the moment, looking that they will get the last few members of Shake and Bake off of the point, as they have Sammy switching to the Wrecking Ball to try and turn it around, but unfortunately going to fall short here, as they will unfortunately not claim this first round on Busan downtown.
That was admittedly looking pretty dominant by Mystery Inc., and I think a lot of that goes to the support and DPS play. I don't want to discredit the tanks, but when the supports are getting picks, you know, right, I mean, when the DPS, excuse me, are getting picks right out of the gate, it makes the tank's job a lot easier, because it's so much easier to push into. It's so crucial that Shaggy and Darth Squid are getting those kills and just kind of in their own way buying that space.
And to even further kind of elaborate on, you know, that play by Shaggy, it was really just the dynamite placement. I think that was extremely critical, because the follow-ups were there, but it's because of that early initial damage that we saw happening in those very high ground positions just behind the shields that were very advantageous for the side of Mystery Inc. over Shake and Bake.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be the case. We're going to be seeing a little bit different of a comp this time, is particularly coming out of, it seems, Shake and Bake. They're going to be running the Junkrat. I kind of like this, but they're going to have to be very careful. Spanking can get very charged if they're not playing carefully.
And you see Ryu sneaking in the back. They do see him. That concussion mine trying to do some damage. The trap out as well, as they will look to regroup. Nice swivel around by Ryu, getting a lot of damage as Sammy is now also looking for that type of flanking position with the 76, starting to force them back. They will allow Mystery Inc. to claim the point first, but they're really trying to play this high ground and doing a very good job of it. They're getting the ticking damage needed to really push this team back around the drum.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to be the case here, but again, it's going to have to be Shake and Bake aware of the dynamite by Shaggy. We already saw it just get hucked in there and land onto some guy. That means that Shanxi had to use the projected barrier, and it's, you know, you don't want to use those resources unless you can get the optimal benefit out of them.
And Sammy's doing a great job harassing Shaggy in the back, focusing a lot of attention there. They do have Darth able to get that nice follow-up, though, here onto Sammy, even though there was so much pressure given. Numbers advantage still in favor of Mystery Inc., and now they're starting to gain even more of an advantage. Darth stuck in a trap. Can they turn it around? Shang managing to get that kill as Spanky manages to still also take out some guy with the res quickly after coming out by Scooby.
Yeah, and we are just seeing this team kind of completely cover themselves, or the team of Mystery Inc. completely cover themselves. You know, when one member falls, Scooby doesn't just necessarily go for the reckless reses, but they get the reses that are reasonable and that they feel can't get punished, and that's what we've been seeing a lot. Scooby has not been falling from these reses, and I think that's an opportunity that Shake and Bake might be able to capitalize upon if they're able to catch them out.
I very much agree, and they need to try and find that opportunity. They've seen them in a dominant fashion. There's an early dynamite, though, unfortunately, onto Rivers, but they're still not out of the fight just yet. They're going to force Bob. You see the reposition by Sammy looking to survive through it. They don't want to play any further forward and allow that ultimate to just phase. They no longer have it, as they will only have the, well, Dragon Blade, and currently have the Sound Barrier, hoping to get the Graviton up soon.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Ryu is going to be trying to get an early pick with this tire. Definitely a very kind of solo-capable ult that can just open up a fight massively, and that's exactly what Shake and Bake need.
And you see Tactical Visor now coming out, just falling. Nano Boost as well for the Tactical Visor, as you do have the Sound Barrier coming out by Ryu. It will not, or correction, by Dyer, as the Rip Tire will be in addition. The Sound Barrier there, they wait for it just a moment. Scooby is going to go down, hyper-focusing on the support, but Darth now getting a lot of Dragon Blade action as their team is starting to get whittled away. One member to now two on Shake and Bake, still continuing to stick into the fight. Shaggy going to get the kill onto Shang, unfortunately, here towards the end of it, as you do see a consistent applying pressure. The Fire Strike by some guy. Can they get there? The Graviton's barely going to be able to keep them from touching it, as Mystery Inc. so far claims the first map here on Busan.
Yeah, and Mystery Inc. not looking like they're in too much of a pressurized situation here. They just seem to kind of take that calm, cool. It was really kind of a struggle for Shake and Bake to even get near point a lot of times. And, you know, with the DPS play coming out, I talk about it a lot here, it feels. But it looked well put together. It looked like the DPS players knew what they were doing, or at least that they were able to once again capitalize upon those mistakes, which, you know, Overwatch has said all the time, it's just a game of capitalizing upon mistakes. It's not making them and punishing your opponents for making them more.
Indeed, and we do get that lovely 11, going to be 12 stack for Rivers with that lovely Baptiste healing. An amazing job again. It's just one of those things where regardless of how much damage is being pumped out, there is still a lot to their advantage, you know, using that type of Baptiste character. And we don't see, I feel, as much of it. We've seen a little bit earlier today, but it's one of those things where I feel it really just revolves around the type of, I guess, composition that they want to play. And, you know, with the next map selection going to be Assault, we do either have Temple of Anubis, Volskaya Industry, and Hanamura. We saw Hanamura earlier, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it again, because a lot of the time, I know Temple of Anubis, for at least the community side of this, is the bane of the existence, and Volskaya can be, I think, a hit or miss, I feel, versus Hanamura.
I mean, to me, you know, I'm gonna flex a little bit. I'm gonna say when it comes to my experience with 2CP maps, nothing gets banned. Nothing gets banned more frequently than Paris.
True.
Paris is
This is
one.
true.
So it's not in here. It's not in here. Luckily, we don't even have to worry about that. But
I have to interject. I just have to interject because this is a community thing. So we get the confirmation by Shake and Bake, Temple of Anubis. My admin Unieveth saying, "Really?" and then Shake and Bake saying, yes. So, it looks like we actually, like, really, in the chat by Dyer, like, really, like, they actually want this to happen. So, maybe the Bane of Existence says yes. Okay, so they're actually going to do it. We are going to go on Temple of Anubis and have a good time with Shake and Bake confirming that that will be our next map. And my goodness, friends, we are going to get to see it live today.
And that kind of makes me excited, right? Because, you know, from what we just saw, I definitely think that snipers might come into play here. On that first point, snipers so good. And, you know, if the Ash play from last game is any indication, I think we're in for a treat. I'm just mind game predictions here. I'm just saying I think Anubis is going to be a pretty nice, despite all the smack we're talking about.
and the reason why I'm not surprised by this is we have come to know that Sammy amongst the community is a Widowmaker champion, quite the Widow player, and if we do see them on the defensive side, even though they're going to be on the attacking side first, there's a lot of opportunity to use the Orisa shield to get that block damage potential to allow sightlines to open up, which is a really crucial part here on that first initial defensive side. But as they come out on the attack, I wouldn't be surprised to see it there either. I mean, Widowmaker can be very good. It's just you have to watch those sightlines, especially when you grapple over top so that you're not picked out yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of a tit-tat kind of game where you don't know if you're going to be able to I guess, let me rephrase, in a competition where you don't necessarily know the skill of the opposing Widowmaker, it can either be, you know, feast or famine is the phrase I like to use for a lot of sniper characters, because they either absolutely feed or they just buy their team so much like pick potential that just allows them to take early fights.
It's very true. And, you know, on this defensive side, we are going to see the Orisa Roadhog selection, which is very good. You get that middle high ground maintained by the Orisa, the halt opportunity with the hook to isolate one member out in these choke points. And we're going to actually see, like I said, on the attacking side by Sammy with that Widowmaker.
Well, I'm very excited that they're running the Hog Orisa. I was a little bit hungry. I felt the need for some pulled pork right about now. So glad to be seeing it happen. Gonna really be punishing those out of position players if they notice any of them not behind that Reinhardt shield.
And you're gonna see Ryu sneaking in, looking for an opportunity for the hack. Just coming out, does get the reposition. They see it, has to instantly force the translocate. That turn dash, once coming out for the initial hack, was very well done, especially since they knew that the Symmetra was selected after waiting the 10 seconds once the match began.
Yeah, definite head on a swivel there for Darth Squid. They're gonna have to really be keeping their eyes open. You don't want to let a lot of these characters go without their cooldown. Shaggy might not be as punished for it, but the rest certainly going to be a little bit in pain if they don't have them.
And they do get that nice early hook here onto Shang. Ryu going to force the translocate again. They're playing this slow and steady until they can find a chance here to get the ultimate opportunity to really contest against this. Still slowly generating ultimates. It is going to be Shaggy nearing that Bob play, which is important, but you still see a decent amount of ultimate generated on the side of Shake and Bake, regardless of the difficulty of getting through this choke point.
Yeah, and it seems like Shake and Bake playing a real reserved kind of style here. They're not really trying to make a lot of pushes. They're just trying to get set up to where one push will really be the difference maker.
It's very true. Ryu, unfortunately, going to get taken down, but there is, again, just that win condition with the EMP. If they can remove any sort of ability from the side of Mystery Inc. and get that momentum, that is very critical. Still getting a lot of damage, raining overhead now, watching out for Sammy. They focus that Discord there quickly so that they can cause some pressure, but still holding this middle ground very well.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough spot for the side of Mystery Inc. They have to deal with the frontal threat, but also the side sweep of the Widowmaker. It's going to be tough, but it doesn't seem to bother Stargazer.
Oh, and Shaggy claiming that kill onto Ryu, and now they're getting near these ultimates. You see Scooby forcing out the Valkyrie. That was a nice usage on the support ult to get it out of the fight. The Infra is going to be available, so they at least have that going into this next engage, seeing where their positioning is. Dyer hoping to get that Lucio sound barrier, and even the nano boost coming out by Rivers.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a switch. SammyMiami switching on to that Reaper, so perhaps thinking the Widow might not be the most optimal pick here. But it's not necessarily the worst swap to it. The Reaper very good against tanks, and it seems like a lot of this comp is built around Spanky and Stargazer on those tank roles.
And now as we do see them try to reposition on the high ground, it's done very well that they are sticking through it. Ryu surviving, nice assistance by the supports. They are playing still very strategically, even though they're a little bit pressed back at the moment and having that difficult chance. You see that reposition, though, by Sammy jumping on the low ground, looking for the supports, having to force the fade to make sure that they can survive as the EMP comes out, the Earth Shatter as well. This is what we were talking about. The ultimate stacking up now as Ryu lands the EMP on multiple members, will claim this point now. They will most likely not contest it, and Mystery Inc. is going to have to regroup at that second point.
Yeah, Mr. Inc. now kind of having to lick their wounds, as you mentioned, but they are going to have quite the bank left for the next push. They're going to have the Transcendence. They have the Whole Hog and the Orisa Battle Bongo already online. Not to mention their DPS ults, the Bob and the Blade. It's going to be a lot to kind of deal with the continued onslaught of Shake and Bake, who just right now seem to just be working on the process of building a lot of ults to dump them at once.
Agreed.
Also, Corrupt are going to have to be very careful with this Sombra.
And 6 ultimates they're looking to go into. If they can force a few of these ultimates, nice shot here coming out in the back to try and harass Corrupt. May be able to get some ultimate charge from that by Ryu. Nice job again. The Sombra play is going to bode them very well here as Sammy on the low ground's looking to regroup the pin as well. Bob going to be dropped, the Supercharger as well, managing to get 2, almost 3, does get the 3rd ultimate out on the side of Mystery Inc. with now the follow-up by Darth. So they have been able to get a lot of ultimates out of that push and really just forcing them to use them. And that was a really great attempt here by Shake and Bake to get them out.
Yeah, when you talk about eco pushes and just trying to drain the ults out of your enemy, we saw 4 ults be invested from the side of Mr. Inc. We saw the Bob, we saw the Bongo, we saw the Whole Hog, and we saw the Bout. That is some pretty good usage of just presence and making yourself feel imposed. But now Shang and Sammy going to have that Grab Reaper combo. It can potentially put a lot of damage onto this entire team. It's something to keep an eye out for.
Seeing them regroup around that right position on the attacking side, can they find an opportunity to get some early damage here through these pillars? Going to get halted about and watching their positioning, and it's just going to be that opportunity that they can find. Charge in the back, looking to get fortified, unfortunately will go down. They're most likely not going to want to spend the ults, but they're actually going to try and collapse. The Transcendence still available on the side by Corrupt him, and they will just use the Dragon Blade in addition, so no ultimates on either side really any longer, as some guy is at least going to near an Earth Shatter, with Shaggy also getting very close to that Bob.
Yeah, and I want to talk about something I saw on the side of Mystery Inc. there. It goes back to what we talked about on Busan. Scooby got a res right on point when there were 2 or 3 other members from the side of Shake and Bake. That was so easily punishable, but Shake and Bake just did not quite happen to notice that Mercy going for it. And do you think that it may not have changed the fight, but it would have been something that could definitely improve the play here? I mean, if they don't start noticing those kinds of plays, it's going to be tough.
I agree with you very much, and especially with it going to now be Bomb coming online, they have to be really cognitive of where this positioning is, because it's been thrown into very decent corners for them. Ooh, the Halt Dynamite combination here, as we can see, just over the shoulder of Shaggy, but the EMP claiming all 6. Beautiful placement in the backside as they're going to lead with a sound barrier. Looking to get the extra damage, already managing to claim 2 as Bob's going to be dropped down in the backside. Sammy trying to find some value against that Reinhardt pin in the backside onto the Bob, looking to clear it out. Shaggy and Scooby sticking together as the dynamic duo, as now they're starting to turn it back around. Dark able to just completely regroup with the side of Mystery, as he's looking for that blood in the back line. Lucio, the only one really remaining by Dyer, and they'll be able to hold back after quite an intensive push right there.
Yeah, that was looking so good from Shake and Bake, and I think the real key as to kind of what helped the stabilization of Mystery Inc. was Bob. Bob got thrown out by Shaggy, meaning that in order to avert all that damage, some guy had to charge and take him outside of the point, meaning that he's just not busy shielding his team, he's just carrying away a massive damage threat, meaning that there's a lot of damage going onto the opponent, or onto the team that just really can't be blocked.
It's definitely true, especially now with Ryu now switching to that Junkrat, wanting to try and break through that shield, focus a lot of damage into these choke points over the walls where there's good coverage here. They might get a chance to use a Riptire, especially with that having 60 seconds to go, if they can just generate it quick enough.
Yeah, especially since Spanky's going to be missing that hook. That might be the opportunity to collapse, but it doesn't seem like they're going to quite be onto it in time.
Now with Sammy on the low ground, now going to regroup towards the middle, finding a chance to get some damage on the Orisa in the backside, almost getting Stargazer down, forcing the Fortify. Bob going to come out again here with Darth holding on to that Dragon Strike, most likely going to use it. They do get the stagger onto Sammy, as they are still holding strong here and have a decent ultimate economy. Does get taken down by Ryu, but 30 seconds remaining, and this is the critical fights that remain for them.
Yeah, at best, there's going to be one full team fight for Shake and Bake if they manage to drop rather quickly. It looks like they've aren't. There looks like they're going to actually kind of try to drag this out. May not be the best play when you could have a full 6-man to push next time around. Ooh, the blade, though.
And they will get that out. That actually could be beneficial. Rivers having the coalescence, the extra damage and healing on this choke point. Dyer having the sound barrier. Sammy needing to survive does go down, unfortunately, and they no longer have a mercy to really get the assistance. Starting to trickle in as the overtime starts to shred away. Stargazer getting the kill on the backside as we continue to see Scooby fueling the health as round 1 will complete with at least the first point being captured.
Yeah, that was certainly something. It will actually not be the first point being captured. That was a solid defense coming through from the side of, I believe it was the Mystery Inc.
Yes,
not going to quite get overtaken by Shake and Bake just yet. But I mean, it's certainly within the realm of possibility for Shake and Bake to get some victory here moving forward, because they didn't get full held. They didn't get held at first, meaning that they have a goal line in the sand.
They really do. And again, it's not unheard of for them to have a full hold, or at least preventing just the 2 ticks, 1 tick, even a slight bit before. And honestly, it really can depend where we may get into a draw. That could happen to go into a tiebreaker. We are not 100% sure as we will go into this. So now let's just take a quick look at what we will have on the defensive side. We are going to have Sammy actually hovering over this Bastion play right now. This, I feel, is a really high-risk, high-reward type composition for this desperation play.
Well, I think that if you want the win here, you have to go with the high risk, high reward. If you acknowledging that, if you say that a tie is not good enough, then basically you have to do it. You have to do a first point hold. And if that's the case, you have to go with something like this. You're not going to mind the fact that if you lose first point, you'll be giving up a lot of ult charge, because the tie is not going to matter at that point for you.
And this is one of the things we talked about too with the Symmetra, where it's got the teleport to the high ground here.
Yeah, absolutely. It allows for quick relocation. I definitely like that. It takes a lot of coordination from the team, though, which that still remains to be seen.
And you now see them still going to come out with a very confident pick. Both Darth and Shaggy sticking to their guns right now as it's worked multiple times. A lot of damage funneled in here, and you're just going to really have to watch the coordinated movement by the team looking for a flank, though. Shaggy in the back line with Darth. They're going to quickly see this reposition, though. Nicely done by the side of Shake and Bake. The coordinated reposition is doing a great job as Shang gets an early pick here.
Yeah, once again, Scooby able to get those reses off unpunished. You don't like to see that if you're on the side of Shake and Bake.
Now seeing them try to collapse down. They're hoping just to force them into this point. They need to try and collapse. They're about to lose a second tick here. They have the chance to do so. Sammy going to be very aggressive on the low ground. Does unfortunately get pinned. Corrupt able to gain a nice assist here with the kill onto Shang, as that's going to finally be it. They were doing so well originally, but once they started to hyper-focus onto the point, it made them have to drop down, and that's where the disadvantage came with Bastion by Sammy being so out in the open.
Yeah, the advantage of those types of comps, those bunker-style comps, is that you can really have a lot of damage superiority at distance, but once the distance is closed, it makes it a lot tougher to really regain that predominance.
And the Earth Shatter comes out into the Immortality field. Bob going to be there as well, but still, even exchanges, numbers advantage. Now Bob coming out by Shaggy. The momentum is absolutely real on the side of Mystery Inc. That might just be enough to force them down, and it will be it. Mystery Inc. claims victory on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, that was really well played. Mystery Inc. just absolutely seeing that they had some snowball potential with the Bob ults, with the Earth Shatters. So they absolutely go forth, use it, and just capitalize upon it. That is some classic 2CP snowball that, depending on what side you're on, you like to see.
And you have the Transcendence being the play of the game there. That support role being very critical despite all of the outgoing damage that we did see by multiple players here. And, just to take a look at that map pool, it is going to be a victory going in favor of Mystery Inc. for the evening. Shake and Bake, we love to send them energy because they still played hard and did a very good job when it comes to still working as a team. It was just, unfortunately, those really just opportunity finding moments that really helped Mystery Inc. keep that momentum. That was, I think, one of the biggest things, is that if there was an opportunity to stop that momentum by Mystery, it could have been very easily punished, but just couldn't be able to gain that. And it's one of those things that's just unfortunate to see, but still a job well done by both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if these players do not necessarily have a whole lot of team experience, it's always great to just come in, goof around, get that kind of team experience. You don't get that on the ladder. I have personal experience. You don't get that on the ladder.
Not at all.
So it's always a good time to see these communities, the community teams kind of come together and just, you know, even if it's not as serious a tournament, just kind of come in here, play a little Overwatch, and have a good time.
I totally agree with you. And now that we have this match completed, we will prepare and go into our fourth and final one for the night. And we will once again give you that visual here on the graphic. It is going to be At Least 6 versus Raw Storm. So that is the fourth and final one that we will be having, as we will go to a quick break just to make sure that the team is rotated in and in a great spot to make this final match epic for us to cast. Again, it is RichRad along with Sir Waltham, and we will be back in just a moment for us to finish the final game for the night.
Look forward to it.
Seek paradise, won't change your mind. Can't shape the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't chain me down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking. Hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. 'Cause the time keeps turning. Feels just like it speeds up. It's what I waited for. Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind. Can't shake the light. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. Just wanna feel the stars surround. The atmosphere never to come down. I'll stand alone, whether right or wrong. It takes me home, right where I belong. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking. Hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking. Hard for me to keep up. I can't
Orisa Online.
In 2018, we witnessed one man begin the climb as an Overwatch caster. The adventure began with quick play casting, where RichRad brought a new level of excitement and intensity to the casual and competitive gamer, making every quick play feel as if you were a pro.
Doomfist though to contest against it. Supercharger now going to be joined in conjunction with it to try and get the extra damage. Coalescence to force them back. Jet's going to be overwhelmed as the support's going to get picked off. Triple kill with Soggy dominating on the front.
During RichRad's growth in the competitive Overwatch scene, he accelerated through small community tournaments, leading him to cast Open Division and even gained the opportunity to commentate Tier 2 Chinese Overwatch contenders. With his consistent growth and loyal community, it's finally time for RichRad to bring the excitement here for you today.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. Buddy. Let's get the words right, as we're going to have an amazing last set of matches tonight, as it will be at least 6 versus Raw Storm. And Sir Waltham, I'm hoping we can see at least all 6 of these members deal with the Storm and see who's going to claim victory moving forward.
Yeah, it's looking to be another good one, flying off the back of last game we just saw between Shake and Bake and Mystery Inc. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing some pretty good Overwatch gameplay. I just gotta say right now, while we're waiting and hanging out in the lobby, I don't know if the people at home can see it. We got some good icon synergy going on right now.
We really do. Let's just give a little bit of a shot there. Let's just see it. Look at the icons.
Look at them on both sides. They're so awesome. And yes, as we see, it will be at least 6 on the left with Raw Storm on the right. As we will get it underway in just a moment, we will give them the R from our end as the production. But yes, so between these two teams, it is going to be quite interesting how they're going to finish off the night and what type of exciting gameplay we're going to see, if it's going to fit the norm. We've seen quite a bit, though. I mean, let's be honest. We've seen some Ashe play, some Genji play. We've seen Junkrat. We've seen even Reaper in 76. So I have seen quite a bit. Now, the one thing that we've been talking about, though, is if we'll ever see the Torbjorn. I know that we want to talk a little bit about that, and you mentioned it earlier, so we can talk a little bit about it, where it's that Clockwork Vendetta comp. So if you could take a little bit and just kind of break that down, what that comp actually is. We can go back and forth between the two of us and just describe what it actually is that people are hearing recently.
So there's 4, I guess, figurehead characters or heroes to the Clockwork Vendetta comp. It's going to be the Mei, the Torb, the Orisa, and the Hog. I mean, obviously, you talk about some of these characters already. Orisa and Hog already have great synergy. And this is it's kind of a comp that's made for a lot of zoning, for a lot of area restriction. You know, you have Torb's ultimate, which is great for locking down, hallways. Mei's Ice Wall, which is, well, great for locking down hallways. Orisa's Pull, which is great for making sure people don't go down certain hallways.
It's very true.
Then, finally, Hog's Hook, which is great for pulling people down the hallways. So really, it enables you to just kind of manipulate your opponents in a way that they definitely don't want to be manipulated sometimes.
And, to even piggyback a little bit further on that, it's also just about the really sometimes solo support. They rely solely on that Mercy because the Hog has the healing capability, the Fortify for survivability. You have also the chance to use the heal from the Mei, also just that armor and just assistance in support from the Torbjorn ability as well. There's just so much that they don't really need to rely on having multiple tanks. And I've even seen a floating Hanzo in there too as another DPS.
Yeah, it comes down mostly to those core 4, and then the rest is a little bit liquid, a little bit fluid as to what else you can choose to run. Obviously, you want to have some supports in there at some point, but it's not set in stone. And the team that set this kind of in motion, the Clockwork Vendetta, they're very known for specifically having players who main or one-trick these heroes. So it's not just something that you can pull off willy-nilly. It's something that kind of does take a higher degree of familiarity with each of those heroes.
Well, and now to kind of spin it into here, this current match, it looks like At Least 6 is going to have Venom come out on the Doomfist, which I've been able to actually see some of the Doomfist play, and I'm really going to want to see how well it's going to be executed, especially since the recent patch note where it allows them to have that ability cooldown reduction. Even though it's minimal, it is quite substantial when it comes to that backline fight.
Yeah, absolutely going to be seeing it, and Ilithia going to be going for a dive right off the bat. It's not going to be finding too much yet.
And you see them still continuing to almost take them down very, very low. The survival is there by the supports. Beautiful coordination between Captain Mongoose along with Walrus, which again, we've seen a lot of play from Walrus on this Mercy, and a stellar job as they're going to now rotate down to the bottom. Raw Storm in a good position to claim it first and start to generate some percent.
Yeah, Illith is going to have a rough time against Fetchel. The Hammond's so weak, if he gets hacked, he basically just becomes a giant punching bag, similar to Roadhog, except, not as much burst damage. So it's a tough, you have to play very careful with this Hammond.
And they do see that there's a lot of support coming out by Walrus. They get the hack, they have Venom follow up immediately after. They acknowledge where the critical placement should be on their focus as they hyper now go on to Mongoose for the Ana, but they're still doing a great job surviving through it, finally getting the kill by Derby as the Dragon Strike's gonna come through though, able to gain so much out of that positioning with the follow-up from these two DPS on the Sombra and the 76. 40% already as they will reside on this point.
Yeah, and the ults are not looking too imbalanced here, with the exception of the switch from Venom going to be losing a little bit of ult charge. But, I mean, Googly Eyes just throwing out that dragon means that, DPS ults in general are going to be at least one very low. We're going to be seeing both Sombra ults, but you have a lot more punching power from the side of Raw Storm here.
Ooh, and they get a nice pick onto Googly Eyes in the back, getting that Hanzo taken care of. Numbers advantage now for Ultimate, starting to slightly favor Raw Storm. The EMP now going to come out overhead, but not many there to really be hit by it. Only one really by Aura Creator, as they are starting to get some value on this. The collapse was very important. You see Derby now using that Earth Shatter to close it out, and now we're going to take it back with a solid 6, and at least 6 of them here at 81% and stopping that climb.
Yeah, and if Derby is really able to kind of line it up, they will have a great time hitting Earth Shatters. There is no shielding, no Zarya bubbles, nothing to really block that from just getting some massive value if they have the entire team kind of held up right in front of them. But the caveat is that that's not going to happen that often with this comp. You have a lot of long range, a lot of fast players. It's going to be a little tough.
And they have the EMP now finally dropped, getting 3, 4. Correction, it will be now Derby, unfortunately going to get taken down. There's the Wrecking Ball play, able to gain another as they switch it back at 82, as at least 6 is having to play very strategically now on this defensive side, really, or correction, attacking side.
Yeah, and really, it's going to be pretty much just, if they can, just getting onto point and just trying to stall out. It looks like they're actually going to have a lot of team members on the point at once. It's going to be a good benefit.
Beautiful sound barrier, though, to come out here on the side of at least 6, surviving through that incoming damage, along with the overlap of the Immortality Field. They strip it from Raw Storm at the 99% marker, so they're still in this fight and at least have the Deadeye, and soon to have another EMP, which is very critical for them to use on this next encounter.
Yeah, they will be going up against Captain Mongoose's Nano Boost, though, which if Aura is able to get it and deal some consistent damage, that can be pretty lethal. They might want to be careful of that. Not a whole lot else to combo with it, though.
Dragon Strike going to be forced, really, I feel, for more of a zoning purpose, as they're getting some intel by that frontline play. Here comes the High Noon on the backside by that McCree of Venom, able to hit 1 on a Googly Eyes. And honestly, that one pick might just be enough here to force this entire team back.
Yeah, you always feel good when you get 1 kill with a McCree Deadeye. It's such a tough ultimate to leverage any kills just because of how exposed you are. Not only do you have to stand still, but you're also glowing like a beacon. And, you know, it's going to help at least 6 kind of tilt the score in their favor. It's getting pretty close here.
And you see now a nice hack in the back onto Derby, getting very near that Earth Shatter, which is going to be important. They have to find the right time and place to use this. The EMP, though, going to land on 4. There's the Earth Shatter down the choke, now going to gain 1, looking for the second, going to completely turn it against the Raw Storm, as they have an EMP now in return. Hack mid-charge, won't be able to collapse down to the low ground, as they will get near switching it back, but going to come up short. This might just be the chance, and enough here for Raw Storm to be outmatched towards the end. Venom getting the double kill for the cleanup. No one gonna touch it in time. Oh, they do. They get the res to come out as well, and they have that Sombra looking for the hack. Can they get Venom? No, not gonna be able to do so. Does get the pick. The translocate as well, with the consistent harass by the Wrecking Ball. Just forcing them away, staggering it out here, Sir Waltham, and it's just a endless battle between these two for that last member to go down.
Yeah, it was looking very touchy there for both sides. It got very brawly there, which is a little bit unusual given these teams, especially, you know, the Baptiste likes to have their players play very close together. So as we see that fight kind of getting spread more and more apart, it was very much leaning towards going either way. Glad that we're seeing some very competitive games this time around. Both teams looking like they're right at each other's throat.
They really are, and it's really nice and refreshing to see it. But now as we look at some of the compositions here, I see Googly Eyes hovering over that Pharah play. And with this type of map, it is not so strange to see, because there's so much verticality to this open space and still a lot of obstacles to really give yourself some cover.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the pharmacy going to be a really good pocket in this kind of situation. We'll have to watch out, as there's going to be a few hit scans on the side of at least 6. You're going to have the Baptiste as well as the McCree. Baptiste probably not going to be too successful in taking out that air threat, but still going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure at least.
Now getting a nice pile drive in the back, looking for that harass, managing the shield well as the supports continue to funnel Googly Eyes. The hack going to come out onto the Pharah, which they have to tread cautiously with so they do not get picked out here in the back line. Still continuing to contest it. They do get a sleep dart onto Derby. Nice play coming out by Captain Mongoose, and starting to go in favor of Raw Storm. They're not looking to let this at least 6 team gain any value out of it as the fight still ensues.
Yeah, it's still going a little bit back and forth, or maybe just all fourth, as it's going to be Rawstorm cleaning up most of these kills, but they got brought dangerously low. It just looked like the close wasn't quite there for at least 6. There were at least 3 or 4 people towards the end of that fight on the opposing team, Rawstorm, who were at below half health. And you think really if they tighten up that focus, it opens up an entire world of closing kills for the for the now attacking at least 6.
And you see now Sombra sneaking in the back by Rawstorm, focusing Venom. They acknowledge that that hit scan is a threat, like you just said, making sure that they can prevent that from focusing. Googly Eyes still on the high ground, having the rocket barrage, going to gain 2. Hacked, though, will not gain as much value as Derby gets the execution, trying to see if they can follow up, but Captain Mongoose on the support, making sure that that Sombra is answered for. And now you see at least 6 having to try and retreat from this because they can't afford to give any more ultimate charges. They already almost have 5 on the side of Rawstorm.
Yeah, and in this situation, Googly Eyes going down to that rocket barrage, or because of that rocket barrage, it's a totally fair trade. They have Walrus to bring them back up, so you're not going to be feeling too bad about it. And you get 2 kills off the back of it. You're always feeling good if you're trading 1 for 2 in most situations, unless you're on attacking assault, but that's a different story.
And we see a switch now coming out. It's going to go from the Reinhardt to the Orisa. They want to use that positional shield along with the survivability from that Orisa Fortify, and hopefully going to gain a supercharger here, but only having, an EMP in the back, managing to gain 5 members. Will they have the follow-up as the minefield comes out? Tactical Visor, Valkyrie. That is a lot of ultimates invested into this, and hoping that it might give that window of opportunity here for at least 6.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case. At least 6, or this entire game really has felt like a Sombra echo chamber. We'll see one Sombra pop an EMP, and then it feels like 5 seconds later another one will, just because they didn't get hacked. But it only finds 2 or 3. It just seems like they hear an EMP and try to throw out their own to minimal effect.
Amplification Matrix on the side of at least 6, looking for the extra boosted damage. The Doomfist now once again coming out by Venom. That strong positional play in the back, looking for the harass, wanting the kill, and the follow-up does get that rocket gun for 1, almost getting the follow-up as they continue to try and contest against that Wrecking Ball. Still looking to switch it. There's 1 member still contesting it, as it's only the Sombra remaining. Will clear them off, and they're going to get a slice of time to gain some percentage of their own.
Yeah, we're going to like to see that. We're going to like to see at least 6 get some progress onto the point, but it's going to be a little tough. They now have to go basically 0 to 100 against 3 ults, none of their own, and they can't get off point, or they can't surrender point, or else they lose this round. They still have 1 in the pocket for themselves, but it's still a little bit of pressure on this map.
And you at least have the Winston now to dive in the back to try and harass, seeing if they can get those supports out of the fight. Now Venom having to be careful. There's the hack, making the Doomfist very unusable on the point. That might just be it. There's the EMP to put the nail in the coffin, as Googly Eyes will look to turn it around. The return EMP, but falling so short as the overtime ticks away. That will be now a 1-to-1 matchup here on Busan.
Yeah, and now we get to go to, I believe, what we started with the last time we were at Busan. It's going to be the airport. Is that the correct sub-map name?
Mecca. Or no, downtown.
Mecca.
Correction. This is downtown.
Downtown.
So many maps of Busan we've seen so far. It's not surprising if we get them intertwined, but it will be, yes, downtown. And this is the one that we talked about originally, where there's a lot of high ground positioning for hit scans, which they may opt to do to try and counter against Googly, who's done a very good job, but they're actually going to take that chance and switch it to the Hanzo here.
Yeah, it's looking like they're going to try to take advantage of those long sight lines as well. Just been first 1-1 of any King of the Hill style game mode we've had here in the tournament thus far. So, making a little bit of history here for these 2 teams. But
yes, indeed. And with that being known, it's really just seeing how they're playing amongst one another. Because we see these teams so well matched, we are hoping to see that excitement coming into this third one, onto this downtown, looking for a charge coming out by Derby. Not going to really find anything, as this is just really waiting for that chance to find an execution here.
Yeah, and Walrus got brought so low. It's amazing the side of at least 6 did not get the kills, but now they'll be getting a few. They'll be getting the kill onto the Wrecking Ball.
And you see them now getting the red, trading it for the exchange. At least 6 finding the better benefit, gaining already 10%, as it's going to be a stagger now, probably on the high ground. Aura Creature just getting as much ultimate charge as possible, being the only one left. Now the Rockets raining in from behind. And they're going to have to look now. Oh, there's the stagger, though. That's not going to help them right now.
That's going to be pretty tough. Googly Eyes doing their best to kind of be a pestilence on point, but Venom just kind of had their number the entire time. Being really conservative with that flashbang, making sure that that Tracer cannot just impose her will upon whoever. But of course, now we're going to be seeing the Pharah swap, and I don't blame them after how we saw it perform last map.
I agree with that double Pharah, though. The EMP immediately unleashed from the side of Raw Storm to try and collapse onto this team. They do manage to get Venom, a very key target to focus on because of the amount of gameplay that we've seen coming out so far, as Aura Creature once again goes to that high ground, tries to find some value, needs to get as close to that tactical visor as possible, but still the Rockets now raining from the back line, coming out by at least 6. Can't gain nearly as much value as I think they would have liked out of it, but forced the Valkyrie at least on Walrus for the side of Raw Storm.
Yeah, and it didn't look like a whole lot was achieved from Feshel's Rocket Barrage, but it did push back the DPS from the side of Raw Storm, kind of allowing for a little bit of a breather for at least 6. So it doesn't get direct kills, but it still has value in itself. It's probably not the value you prefer most, but it's something.
And the Deadeye now trying to find somebody in the sightlines. Will they be able to get one? Almost gets a Aura Creature, but barely survives a second longer as the Wrecking Ball does throw the Minefield, trying to zone them back, but the Immortality Field is there to withstand it, as now you see them look to collapse onto this point. Great placement in the backside, managing to get the kill onto Derby. Now the follow-up Tactical claiming so much in the back line with the assistance. The coordinated gameplay between the two switches it back over.
Yeah, it always feels like it's going to be one completely capping the point. Then it just turns around and it ends up, oh no, we're gonna cap it and go from 0 to 100, or attempt to go from 0 to 100. Forward towards the fight that's going to be coming up for at least 6. They have a couple ults online. They have a lot of crowd control ults, the Earth Shatter, the Grab. So they may be able to make that work for them, but they're going to have to be careful of Googly Eyes here. That can really change the battle, as we've seen numerous times already.
30%, decent amount already gained before the real initial fight encounters. Does see Googly Eyes launching one, does get here once again. Apologies for that, as we now see them try to drop down to the lower section. EMP coming out by Teal Fever, managing to get picked off though, as the Wrecking Ball still causes a lot of problems for this team. 50% the side of Raw Storm, looking to take it. The fight still managing to climb, and this is, like we said, that 99-0 can be so difficult, but Raw Storm in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Venom's going to be having that Deadeye, however, meaning that a lot of pressure is going to be put onto those aerial characters, Googly Eyes and Walrus. If they're able to really pressure out the skies, as soon as Walrus pops that Valk, it could be a pretty valuable net gain for Venom. It's going to come down to timing and positioning, however.
Trying to play behind this pillar. You see Googly Eyes doing a great job at managing the position to not get spotted out on the side. Does get the boop into the minefield, but the Graviton's going to come out. The Deadeye as well by Venom, super low, using that extra damage by the Amplification Matrix as the Rockets still rain, gaining 2. Both Pharahs raining so much damage, but finding the better opportunity is at least 699 to 95. I don't know if they'll be able to keep it into the overtime, as it will be only 2 members of Raw Storm still remaining here, Sir Waltham.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's going to be stressful, but we're seeing here the Nano Boost come out. Doesn't look quite enough to keep too much on the line. We're going to be seeing a lot of action going through here. A lot of ults being invested, but at the end of the day, doesn't seem like it's quite going to be enough.
And the ballsy res right at the tail end of it to hopefully gain one last shred of opportunity, but that is going to be the first win by at least 6, and what a back-to-back match that was.
Yeah, that's what you like to see in an Overwatch game. You love to see that back and forth. It's its own form of entertainment when a team just absolutely destroys another, but it is an entirely different thing when you see 2 teams go at it tooth and nail. 99 to 99, at least what, 2-3 times that we saw this King of the Hill matchup.
Yes,
it was amazing.
And honestly, again, props to both, as we are now going to give them just a moment to see what map they're going to choose. Will it be something out of the ordinary? Maybe going to be that last third match, which we have yet to see on Volskaya Industries, or just the troll pick, as our lovely RichRad community knows that Temple of Anubis is always there to make you sad. But as we look to go next, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this. I'm really quite surprised at how close these teams are together in fighting one another.
Yeah, I think that Raw Storm going to be a little bit more advantaged on maps that can run Pharah perhaps a little bit more comfortably. I don't know how much value that will have on these, assault maps, 2CP maps, as I call them from my Team Fortress days. But it looks like Anubis is going to be the call here, and we talked about it last time.
What?
That means high chance for snipers, and I like it.
Oh, Temple of Anubis finding itself a second time, as even once again our admin says, "You sure?" ? As we can all get a good laugh out of that one. Yes, it will be Temple of Anubis getting confirmation by Fever, who we think might actually have a Fever with that type of decision. But yes, so with now Temple of Anubis, we've seen a little bit of a different play. We saw the Bastion potentially an option for the initial defensive hold. We did see a really, really great opportunity with the Sombra play on the attacking side, which was also beneficial. So there's a lot of things going on that we can see going into this. And with how they've played, I almost think that the Pharah v Pharah battle is still relevant here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question, I'd say, but it's one of those. Anubis is one of those maps that doesn't scream Pharah. There are certainly some maps that you like to lean on it a little bit. Gardens and Lijiang, Well and Ilios, things along those lines with very high hitboxes and not a lot of architecture to get in the way of your rockets. So more flat areas. And Temple of Anubis just doesn't really scream that to me. It's very tiered to me, and with the predominance of snipers, it kind of balances out. I'm really hoping we're going to see some solid hit scan play, but I'd still be thrilled if we saw some good Pharah come through.
I agree with you, and to be honest, we are going to have a quick sub here, so it will be Pharah. I'm going to say it so wrong every time because I'm so used to calling him Dalv. We all know him in the community as Dalv, so we will definitely be saying that even though it's Fari, I'm still going to say it wrong, so we're just going to say Dalv. On the side of Raw Storm there, and as you can see it immediately, it will be on that Pharah play. Oops, wrong thing. There we go in the game.
It's absolutely fair that a person who names their profile Fariha Amari after Pharah is gonna play. It just makes it just kind of all adds up.
Thank you very much, because I am so glad that I had a co-caster to say it for me, because I was going to butcher it probably 100 times over. As we will get this match started on the attacking side, we will see Raw Storm with, again, the exchange out for the sub, as we have at least 6 on the side of the defensive position. I want to see some more Orisa. Give me the Orisa. Oh, there's a Torb. There's totally a Torb. Totally a Torb. Please let it come true. Please let this come to fruition. That would be amazing. I'm literally just going to cam to it. I'm just going to cam right to it. It's happening! It's totally happening! At least 6. Coming in as the MVPs. Going to play the Torb. We're done. We're done.
It's the new radical 90s comedy sitcom, Totally Torb, coming to you at a television station nearby. Make sure to check it out. All the Swedish antics. You're going to see it right here.
Because hard work pays off.
My baby.
Yeah, where's Brig when you need her for that line? As you will see again, Raw Storm now going to play that Pharah. Our lovely Dalv with the pharmacy composition. I am scared whenever I face Dalv on a Pharah, so we will see how much damage can be rained on this bunker composition with the Bastion and the Torb combination here.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. That Pharah, if they're able to get outside of that range of the turret, can deal a lot of damage to it, but it just locks on instantly, and that's a nightmare for those flying hits, or for those flying characters to go against a hit scan like that.
And you see that early deletion now onto the mech of Walrus, trying to get some damage here to get back into the mech, but having such a difficult time, and pulling with the halt. Their synergy is so well done right now that you really don't need to worry too much about it, and they're going to have to really evaluate how they want to try and push through this choke point. Still, ooh, almost about to get Dalv out of the sky very quickly on that Pharah play. Still finding a nice position, though, to rain some damage through this choke point to take that barrier down. That's going to be, honestly, the win condition. They have to get rid of this shield quick enough to try and take down Derby.
Yeah, and it's tough. There's a lot of different ways to kind of handle Bastions. You can try just the classic, ladder Roadhog comp where you just try to pull them out of position. It's a little bit tougher in a bunker style like this. You can try having multiple damage angles. That's still very tough with the turret. So it's going to be very difficult here for Raw Storm to get in on this without a very hard dive, which it doesn't seem like they're committing to too immediately.
And I also just want to briefly talk, as they do get this underway, where the positioning is of the Baptiste on the high ground. There's the tank configuration, continuing to get that extra push potential on the low ground. Wonderful job by Derby cleaning up as they generated these ultimates so fast. And really, that support player by Lord on the Baptiste, free to just do as much healing as possible here.
Yeah, and it's going to come, however, at the cost of a handful of ults for the side of at least 6. And, I mean, Raw Storm going to be looking in a much better spot. Walrus kind of really got punished by being in Baby Diva form for so long. They're significantly less ult charge than the rest of their team. But we do see that Nano Blade coming out right now.
Oh, and it's going to get a lot of value here. Unbelievable job for the push. Clean sweep through the team as they were stacked away. Googly Eyes coming in big with that assistance from Teal Fever with the Valkyrie. As now you will have to see at least 6 take a moment and try and refortify that bunker.
Yeah, on the plus side, when we talk about snowball potential for at least 6, it comes, or onto at least 6, it comes from a lot of ults being stockpiled by the side of Raw Storm, and they used a lot of ults to even get into the door, so it's not going to have as much snowball potential. Both teams having about 1 in the bag, and Walrus doesn't even have mech yet, so it's not that threatening of a next coming push for the side of at least 6.
And you see Raw Storm with 5 minutes. That was a great shield, by the way, to block that hook. They had a huge opportunity with that halt, but was easily negated by Aura. Just fantastic job as you look for now that flank by the Mei here to see if they can do some work with it.
Yeah, and in fact, they are. That Diva going to be so hassled, not able to eat any of that frosty freeze. Left clicks from the Mei, just have to take the freeze.
And there's the raining damage that we talked about by Dalv, gaining the quad and finding the opportunity to just lay waste to the team, as that might just be enough here. Primal Rage going to be forced now by Shanko as they get onto the Doomfist by Venom, hoping that they can get back onto the point, trying to contest it as much as possible since they do have the respawn advantage. Self-destruct now going to come out by Raw Storm, going to negate that opportunity for Venom to do any work as they do get the pick, as the Dragon Blade now comes out by Googly, wanting to find some shots with that blade, slashing back and forth and just hacking away as they're still in this fight, though. Couldn't gain nearly as much value here, Sir Waltham, and they're just going to hold on with this Blizzard.
Yeah, and this is going to be crucial for the defensive team. Now they build up some, they're trying to build off some time bank. They're trying to make it as for them next round, but they're actually going to get the full hold. That was certainly not expected given how quickly the kills came through initially for Raw Storm. That's pretty impressive.
It really is, and like I said, for when it comes to Dalv on the Pharah, I just have to tell you right now is it may be this calm, patient play, but when the opportunity is there, it will be exploited, and there was that quad kill immediately after. It's just a stellar job, especially with the supports just fueling these DPS to do the work that they're doing.
Yeah, they're certainly getting enabled here. We've seen, the Genji Blade get enabled by the Nano. We've seen the Mercy, fly with the Pharah. These are kind of some ideal support DPS combos that you like to see. Googly Eyes not going to be on the Genji anymore, however.
And you do see now Derby trying to get some damage onto the back line of Googly Eyes, taking that hit scan out of the fight. Nice engage, burning a lot of time here. Primal Rage going to be forced as well, with now the Rocket Barrage again overhead. Can they survive through it? Only a few members going to be brought down, but it might just be enough as the Meteor Strike will come out by Venom, looking to get the damage to follow up after the Blizzard is there. Also taking out the res, triple kill by Venom, and not letting this team of Raw Storm strike with the Thunder.
Yeah, that is looking very good. And, it's hard when you talk about how many kills you need and how quickly you need to get them if you're the attacking team on these 2 CP maps. You need to get them in a furious fashion and then capitalize on the rest of the team. Otherwise, the respawn advantage is going to absolutely kick your butt. And I think that's what we saw a little bit here from Raw Storm. They didn't quite capitalize upon it as fast as they could have with that Pharah barrage. I think that if they tighten that up just a little bit, it's an easy take for them.
And we're going to see if they can manage to do so. You see the ultimate economy starting to grow swiftly on the side of at least 6, especially now that we reach this 2-minute marker where there's only a few encounters still available for the team. And now Doomfist in the back coming out by Venom, finding the execution onto Googly Eyes again. The minefield there as well. The just consistent fluidity by Venom on this Doomfist to contest this team is absolutely stellar. And you just see Shanko giving so much space for that Doomfist to just lay waste.
Yeah, and you want to talk about kind of using ults and abilities together in tandem. Derby using those mines near not only a Doomfist who can just knock people into the mines, but a Primal Winston who can furthermore push people into the mines. That is a dangerous spot to be if you're the attacking team. Very dangerous.
Early detection. You see Googly Eyes again showing that variety in the character pool on the Sombra, looking to try and just maybe get an EMP here just before the end of it. 60 seconds. It's very little time to generate it, but still capable here in this last push.
Yeah, and it looks like there will be another Horror Barrage on the line. Not gonna get taken out early this time, not getting too hardly punished for that.
But honestly, the Sombra play onto Venom is a critical play right now. They acknowledge that Venom is doing so well on this Doomfist that they have to alleviate that pressure caused by him in the back line. Blizzard now gonna come out overhead as we do see Dalm continuing to rain damage. Will get frozen in the sky, dropping to the ground. The leap by the Monkey as Shanko gets the double. Can they continue to contest it? Monkey not gonna have the primal range force just yet because he's unable to gain it. Self-destruct to force him off the point as Venom still sticks in the back. Now going to try and engage on the back line as the Meteor Strike is no longer available, gaining 1 with it as they do get a second underneath the triple again by Venom. And that is the focus that they needed and unfortunately fell short as there is only 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, this has really been DPS versus DPS. Venom getting that backline versus Faria taking the battles head on. And it's just been a battle of 2 different styles. It's been a treat to watch.
Faria now trying to find that opportunity. The Immortality field is there, mitigating a lot of incoming damage. Can they get the opportunity to force this team back? Taking it out, now raining overhead, getting 1. Now looking for the second. The Rocket Barrage claiming 2 more, and almost getting the quad, as it will be Venom going down. They are getting enough momentum here to stop it. The hack now onto the May, just outside. 1 member remaining, as they will look to claim it with an entire team kill, fully completing Temple of Anubis in round 1.
That was rather amazing, if I'm a bit frank. that was incredible. That was... I'm speechless. That was some massive plays coming through from the Pharah. Again, it seems to me like it came down between who could pull it out, could Pharah initiate better, or could Doomfist clean up better? Because that's really what it came down to. When you talk about those hype moments, with those moments when I can hear your voice getting a little bit more high-pitched, a little bit more rough, a little bit... Yeah,
it's
just
so
like that.
Good!
It always comes down to Venom versus Faria, and I anticipate if we see those characters come out again, that's exactly what it's going to be the second time around.
You are very right. It's like, I have a full house. Well, no, I've got a royal flush, as we will see them try to see who claims that royal flush. Switching sides now, so it will be at least 6 at the opportunity to attack on Temple of Anubis with Raw Storm on the defense. Not seeing that waiver of the Pharah play at all, as Venom, I guarantee you, says, I'm sticking to the Doom and gonna take it head-to-head with the bird.
Yeah, that was, I mean, there were certainly some instances where you think that the Pharah would have massively allowed for an earlier point cap, but it was just due to a lot of stall, the tank play, the May play even as well, that just allowed for the heroes to kind of come back in waves. And, you know, when you talk about, you know, having to deal with, you know, a trickle-down effect of respawn in, that's one thing, but having to deal with multiple waves, you're playing zombie mode at that point.
You really are, and we're going to see this Basha now sticking to that middle high ground. Damage boost by Teal Fever. On the front side, as the Baptiste will also make sure that the synergy works out well. Early concussion mine by Walrus. Able to take down 1 again. A decent amount of charge here early for Googly Eyes, especially with nobody able to pick them off at all.
Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be Googly Eyes is getting free real estate right here, parking it and locking it down. But I'm not sure that Immortality field was necessary that early from Captain Mongoose. Probably have it back by the time the next engagement starts, but you don't like to risk it.
And now we're going to see Venom switch onto the Hanzo. This is a good choice. They need the hard and massive damage to break the shield down, especially with those Storm Arrows, to try and cause a lot of pressure on this middle high ground.
Yeah, not to mention the ultimate can absolutely cause a bunch of damage, which, you know, I expect they would. but there's always that potential for a massive amount. Junkrat as well, doing a lot of work to just kind of keep this area clear. You like to see it. You like to see that zoning.
Still 3 minutes to go as they look to push. The halt hook combination, but the displacement by Walrus, the quick on top of the game thinking to get that concussion mine to displace and space away, as now that tank configuration does the double needed for them to get these picks. On the back line, though, you do see Venom and Sombra looking to really just stick together and wait for that next engage opportunity.
Yeah, and this is kind of an interesting situation here, because in this situation, we're not seeing the most productive member, the most productive DPS of their team. In fact, if we look at, pure damage output, a big pull, never mind. Go from at least 6 getting an early kill on the Walrus.
And just, I mean, it's unbelievable how well they're playing this bunker comp. They have an Orisa now by Derby trying to contest themselves, but aren't going to, I feel, get as nearly much value out of it, as they look for a flank, though, to try and force them to the point.
Yeah, it was crucial that Fetchel was able to stay on that high ground, not get forced out, and be able to drop on the point when necessary to force kind of a dual distraction onto the defense.
Oh, and that Dragon Strike now holstered for this next push, and they're going to try and use some momentum here. Googly Eye's going to force off that Bastion and switch to the now Roadhog versus the Tracer, which we thought hovered. And they're going to try and use this opportunity to take this point quickly.
Yeah, Walrus is probably the most likely to clutch out an early stall here if they use that tire. It doesn't look like they're going to go for it. They'll get right into the battle. They like getting up close.
Ooh, and the EMP comes out, getting some critical members of the side of Raw Storm as they have to play this inner corner. Nice hook onto Fari. Oh my, they're going to look to get the rocket barrage in the back onto Shenko, managing to take down the tank, and they will look to stabilize here with just the nick of time.
Yeah, that was actually really crucial, more crucial that Fariha got hooked than might be expected. Shenko actually going for Teal Fever, who popped that Valk. If they had landed that hook and gotten that Mercy pulled in, even before the Valk, it would have cost a lot in terms of healing. Captain Mongoose would have certainly had their day cut out for them, and it's really fortunate that Fariha was willing to make that sacrifice for their medic.
And you're gonna now see them move to the outside. The Halt's gonna pull him up, but does survive the pharmacy composition, and now they're in this choke point, getting a lot of damage thrown. The hook, can they get the execution? Does manage to. The Dragon Strike now coming out by Venom on the front, claiming Captain Mongoose. This might be a chance for them to move forward. Nano boost onto the Orisa. Derby gonna delete that supercharger, as they will have the whole hog as well on the front side, just completely forcing this entire team off the point. Can they keep the consistent pressure, even though the respawn advantage is on their way for Raw Storm, as they are getting placed in very difficult positions and having the Fortify to survive as the rockets rain overhead. Now the switch onto the Doomfist, the Riptire. That's going to be probably enough here to force this team back.
Yeah, and not only is it going to be enough to force back, it's going to be enough to pretty much reset the ult board, with the exception of Venom. Everybody feels like either switching or committing ults to that. Captain Mongoose also going to be having that the nano boost coming up soon, but really, aside from maybe putting it on Walrus, there's not a whole lot to really do with that, except maybe buy a little bit more time if you throw it on a tank.
You see now Doomfist, Googly Eyes on the high ground. Gonna do a nice little shuffle dance. Let's just get a nice little look at that as he dances into the pillar. As they now maneuver to the outer side, looking to get some vision, but Googly Eyes waiting for that drop down. They want to find an early engage over the wall. Will get the chance to do so here. Dropping down below, knocks Venom forward with Mongoose gaining the kill. This is just gonna be a good time crunch for them to just run the clock.
Yeah, absolutely good dispositioning of a hog. Really just, sometimes you can't get the kill by knocking them back, so you just pull them into your team, and that will just do equally as well. It doesn't help to build up a little bit of ult charge as well, especially since we're talking about how sided the ult charges were in this situation.
Needing 2 more ticks here. There's the EMP in the back, just finds the opportunity. That is amazing, but they do get the kill. Dragon Strike now starting to gain some value as you see them just run through it practically, as Googly Eyes is nearing a Meteor Strike, doing a lot of work on this Doomfist themselves. Gets the kill, gets the double, wants the third. Can they get the combo? Will follow up here on the Venom, but no, staggers away as they are going to look for the chase. Can they get there? It is, as they will land immediately onto Lord. And holding back once again, as they still have going to be the supercharger, the nano boost, and another barrage to come.
Yeah, it feels like each fight Fariha is going to be having a rocket barrage online, or at least like every other fight. Every fight and a half, I'd say.
Fight and a half, yeah.
like fighting 3/4. I mean,
Yeah, really, but I mean, it's so hard to play it against productivity, I'd say, like that, where you're just producing so much ult charge. How do you deal with it? It's really tough.
And honestly, I mean, it's at this point so late in the time bank that for you to make a hyper adjustment to this, it's very risky, but we do see it. It will be Venom going on to the McCree. That hit scan now with the Mercy so that they can make sure that they have that res capability along with that damage boost to secure this last point, and they're at 1:30 with not too much time remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really putting the pressure on. We're seeing Shanko take a leap. And really, you think the punish might have been there from Googly Eyes, and in fact it will be, just not in the way they've expected.
And
Good
Shanko, wonderful job. They saw the quick turnaround with the Riptire, not going to gain nearly as much value, and Shanko gaining a lot, but now the Rocket Barrage. Pharah coming out on the high ground, will claim one, and the boost as well from Teal Fever to lock down this point again, as they will only have one attempt left for at least 6.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get perhaps they're going to have to get 2 ticks if they want to stay in this, in 1 or 2 pushes. But one thing I'm really fascinated to notice here is the kind of duality of the comp run by Raw Storm. They have Googly Eyes on the Doomfist, really good indoors, but then you have Fariha on that Pharah, really dominant outdoors, and if able to build a lot of charge, able to just throw down the damage. So really, there's no place you can feel safe. Add the Walrus junk spam onto that, it's a tough spot.
And now we are finding them in this position to see Goats for the first time tonight. The triple comp using that survivability with the healing, as they have the 2 tanks. Correction, now going to be 2 with the D-Mech on the Diva immediately brought down, and you're gonna see them start to use the Battle Mercy. Even the Riptire in the backside coming out by Walrus. Complete red in the score screen in the top right for kills, as now you see Googly Eyes looking for the German, wants to bring him down, securing the hold, as that will be it. It is going to be Raw Storm claiming this map of Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, the Raw Storm really showing their DPS prowess there. It was, you know, we thought it was going to be I'll speak for myself here. It was going to be a Doomfist versus Pharah situation, but it was a Doomfist versus Doomfist and Pharah situation towards the end of that. And
so much
we're
variety.
Some massive Genji plays coming through as well, just in case you forgot about some of the other DPS players in this game.
And now let's just commend this, mind you, because we are going to have our first 3rd map of the tournament so far. 1-1. At least 6th taking the control. Then having Raw Storm taking the 2nd on Temple. Now going to see what hybrid map we are going to have in store for us for this next one. And I can't even believe it right now that we have been able to see them go back and forth and will have a 1-1 score. And it's things like this that you love to see. Like you said, it's one thing when you see somebody get, you know, a little overwhelmed in the play. But as we are going into this, the 1-1 only is going to make this even more intense.
Yeah, absolutely. These teams definitely going to be fighting for it all, because this is it as far as we're concerned. We do go up with a escort map next, correct?
Yes, it is. So we will have the selection of either Junkertown, Route 66, or Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yeah, so minimal chance for a tie here. Still possible, extremely unlikely. But man, I can't decide which one I would personally prefer to see. If you make me choose, I'd probably say Gibraltar.
I mean, I would almost say the same thing, because there's almost like that slight phase change when you're, you know, in each segment of, you know, that map. The tail end of it, of course, there is such a wide, vast plane of opportunity when it comes to compositions, especially as we've seen the Pharah play. When it also does come to, you know, the inner portion near the shipyard, in that middle segment, there's a lot of opportunity, even some unique coverage going underneath that archway in the first push. But as we look at it, it will be Route 66, and there's a lot of long sight lines here, and for at least 6 to counter that Pharah play, this is not such a surprising pick for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Streets phase and the first phase going to be, you know, a little bit wishy-washy as to whether the Pharah is going to be the optimal pick. But when you get into the 3rd phase, I think that there's no argument. It's going to be real tough to run the Pharah there. So if you just look at it towards the end game, if you look towards what I mean in Overwatch would be the late game, it's not. It's favorable. It's favorable against, you know, Fariha and company trying to run that heavy Pharah comp where they just farm rocket barrages.
And I'm going to say it's one, like you're saying, where it's going to farm the rocket barrages that in this first real stage, outside of, let's say, like the last one, like when it comes to where you're in a really tight position, you don't really have nearly as many obstacles to cover yourself with, which is my biggest concern if they do stick onto the Pharah. And I know that I'm gonna say it's so wrong. I'm so used to saying Dal. It's okay. We're gonna get through it. I'm somehow one of these days gonna say it right, as we will see the Pharah play again. It's just such a comfort pick, and to be also knowledgeable about this, they are a controller player versus a keyboard player. So that is also something to take into consideration. I know that Dalv on that Pharah play has been looking to transition to a keyboard. I'm not actually sure if they switched just yet, but I have talked to him personally, and he is a control player. So this is quite interesting to see, especially as a Pharah. And doing so well with it, too.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you know, no disrespect to the console brethren out there, but if there's a character I'm going to feel most comfortable with on control, it's going to be that Pharah. It allows you to have kind of forgiveness for having that vertical plane as well. I definitely like to see it. I think it's just using the hardware to your best advantage, in my opinion.
And we do see them now again on the defensive side. It will be at least 6 here. They will have the first stab at holding this payload, as the damage is going to be consistently boosted by these pharmacy compositions. Looking for a flank now by the D.Va in the back, coming out by Walrus to see if they can gain any value out of it, but just having a difficult time. They have to mitigate with that defense matrix as they look to try and again get some final advantage on the side of at least 6 and starting to pick off the members of Raw Storm.
Yeah, at least 6 looking pretty good here. It's peculiar to note that, you know, it seems like we're kind of seeing what some of the conventional wisdom towards Pharah is. Just handle the ground forces and hope that the Pharah becomes irrelevant before she gets too much damage onto your team. We saw that happen when the Winston dropped, and then we see it happen as the members of the side of Raw Storm drop, but now they're going to kind of regroup here.
And you do see them still getting some decent pressure. They have the support ultimate available, soon to have Mongoose, still raining a lot of damage overhead. I am just waiting for the birds to clip one another with one of these rockets to just give a highlight to this show, as they still are looking to move this payload forward just around the gas station, but with a slow pace as the Earthshatter comes out just in time, claiming one onto Captain Mongoose.
Yeah, also Fariha dropping onto the other side of the payload a little bit protected from cover. Not really going to be punished too hard for it, but man, it's looking a little bit grim for at least 6 right now.
Yes, very much so. They're going to have to look to regroup. They can't. Ooh, they're going to commit the grab here with the rocket barrage coming out to see if they can gain value, and they're actually getting quite a bit out of it. What a hold here at just under 3 meters.
Yeah, that was crucial, and it seemed very calculated. Well, maybe not calculated. It seemed very communicated. It seemed like the setup was definitely there. Feshel as well as Shanko, both kind of seeming to have that communication, having those ults at the same time, not one reacting to the other necessarily.
As we do move forward, you see the ultimate stacking up in favor of Raw Storm. Dragon Blade now going to come out by Goof. Oh, goodness me, the flashbang is there, but still survives through it. Venom at least going to be picked off here, as you have to see the retreat now by Googly Eyes. As now that primal rage comes out by the monkey himself, scientist, as SammyMiami would say to me, as they do reach this next checkpoint. 4 minutes still to go as the salute comes out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing this go onto the streets phase, of course, but, you know, we're going to be looking ahead. Walrus and Fariha both going to be having those ults. Those are some literal highly explosive ults. Walrus has the capacity to, if they can catch at the right angle, definitely take down or at least chunk down a lot of the health pools of the defending team here. But Venom with this Deadeye, again, can really try to handle the Pharah, or Special can do it themselves.
Ooh, looking to collapse onto the side of at least 6 Pharah play on the high ground with that D.Va and Winston. Ooh, but the rocket to the face coming out by Dalv. And once again, this is what we talked about, that Pharah play, knowing that positional advantage and leading the target with the rockets as they continue to deal damage to Derby. The only Reinhardt tank remaining as the Winston comes in for some assistance, but too much to handle on this front line.
Yeah, it will be Walrus getting demeched, though. That's a nice little opening potentially for the side of at least 6, as we're going to be seeing them kind of funnel back onto point. But the res coming out might be a little bit of a buyback.
Having the Rocket Barrage available, looking to see as they have 4 ultimates on the side of at least 6 to try and... Ooh, does get taken down by Venom. That's what they needed. They really needed to get that shot out of the sky as they will look to stabilize here and force the team back. Walrus actually going to be displaced as well on the front position near the payload. They need that DMEC, and they will get it as they're going to hold this payload here and prevent it from moving any further.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing both Pharas with their Rocket Barrage online. I think it's crucial that they both kind of play around one another. You don't want to be stationary in the air.
Oh!
Kind of scope in on you.
And the flashbang almost gets googly, but isn't going to be able to get the follow-up, as that might just be enough. The nano-boosted Doom looking to claim some lives as the justice reigns from above. Will gain the scientist and the hamster, both medically worked on, and going to take him down.
Yeah,
scientifically,
but
correction.
Scientifically, correct. Now we're seeing the ult economy flip, though, here. Venom going to be having a lot, or the side of Venom, at least 6, going to be having a lot of ults online. Ooh. And, you know, that's pretty favorable, especially with Googly Eyes going down early. If they press this advantage, they might be able to get a few more ults farmed up. Derby getting those mines would be a pretty nice addition as well.
Looking now to try and shred through that health value on Walrus, hoping to get that D.Va out of the mech very quickly, but they are hyper-focusing the healing there because they know that the focus is there. Deadeye on the high ground trying to find the bird, does manage to get to the supported Mongoose and taking down Dalv, as they will look to fall back now. The Doomfist rejoining the fight, will get flashbang, but not going to be able to do enough as the Meteor Strike comes out looking to claim some more lives in return. And that's going to be an explosive damage on the Mercy, but will not get the kill. Beautiful recovery from the side of At least 6 to cover their supports as the Primal Rage keeps that golden-fisted man in the corner.
Yeah, and now we saw the Rocket Barrage come out from Special, not really going to buy a whole lot. It was easy rather for the side of Raw Storm to kind of rotate back into those caverns, or outside of the caverns rather. I mean, they weren't willing to take a whole lot of damage, but it did give a little bit of a breather to the side of At least 6, so you're not going to feel too bad about that.
No, not at all. You're still happy with what you've netted so far, as there's 2 minutes remaining now for the side of a Raw Storm to try and get some pressure and hope to complete this map. As you see Winston taking a lot of shots along with Walrus from the back line of this Pharah play, trying to counter against Dow. Venom gets a nice pick again. The counter on the Doomfist, finding so much here as that Immortality Field manages to keep him alive, and the Valkyrie's going to come out as well here, Sir Waltham.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the Valk come out, but not from Hannity, however. Might waiting to see how it plays out a little bit. But we're going to be seeing Shanko pop that Primal just to buy a little bit more time.
Googly Eyes just coming back and saying, you may counter me, but I'll take that cowboy out of the West, as they continue to push here with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Knocking the Winston back with the follow-up. The combo generated the triple kill in close proximity, as there's still 1 minute to go with the Meteor Strike now gained, going to be used, looking for the back line. No tumble available. Will they go for the McCree? No, he goes for the Baptiste, knocking him out of the Immortality Field and looking to take that bird out of the sky, but will survive, as they have 3 ultimates on the side of Raw Storm with a few of their own. Rocket's going to rain. Feels like that was a little bit overcommitted there by At least 6.
Yeah, they may have felt that it was necessary, given that the player's advantage was basically 5 to 6. But still, when you're running against a Pharah like Fariha, I think you don't want to take your chances.
No, not at all. Fariha now continuing to get pressured in the back, finally going down, having the Rocket Barrage, holding on to it, looking out for now the Doomfist, who's still getting a lot of damage on the back line and cannot be outmatched at the moment.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, lack of a D.Va is really going to kind of hurt At least 6, especially given how Free has been playing. We talk about it a lot. You got to work on countering their pocket, or their crucial pick players.
Ooh, and you see Venom getting one through the payload, now looking for that Pharah in the sky, also for the Mercy, so they do not have the pharmacy composition. The flashbang just missing it, but this now is going to go into overtime, trying to see if they can maintain pressure on this payload, forcing the rest of Raw Storm away and doing a great job of it, as the Valkyrie is going to be forced to give enough boosted damage and healing to the entire team to pick these last few members off. Derby on the Wrecking Ball, securing it with a minefield and the pressure with the pile drive, as that's a triple kill to secure it in the back line, as no one will touch the payload.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Rich, but that's definitely some Hammond play I like to see come through from Derby. I love seeing the Hammond light up the kill feed. And, you know, just to kind of emphasize that it's at the very end of the game. You know, you can kind of take it to the bank as, oh, you know, I saved this defense here a little bit. I like to see it. It's as a tank player, it's my aesthetic.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm already more content than anybody else because I've seen Orisa be played in my tournament as I play nothing else, to be fair. And when I do, it's forcibly done by hero selects where I have to play Doomfist. This is specifically focused at you, Cog, if you're watching right now. Because he is a lovely person to be like, hey, we should make you play Doomfist where you've got like 5 minutes on, and now I've accrued probably about 5 hours all through fan matches, so let's not even talk about that. But as we will get this turned around, you will see at least 6 now on the attacking side with Raw Storm on the defense, and we will see if we're going to get this Orisa play coming out. Maybe I'm going to be super happy!
Orisa set up on Big Earl's not the worst position to be. I like the Junkrat. I feel like Junkrat and Orisa is kind of one of those sleeper combos that you don't hear talked about a lot, but it comes up a surprising amount. It's like losing socks in the washing machine. It doesn't get talked about as much as it should. I'm determined about that.
Nope, not at all. But I'm going to hyper-focus on this nice little spray of Orisa, because I love Orisa. It's the Protoss version of it, as we now get back into things. 3 seconds to go as these doors open, seeing that once again Pharah v Pharah battle. Ooh, the early pick by Googly Eyes taking out that lovely Mercy. And we're going to let to see them look for a regroup for the full 6.
They still might try to get a little bit of cart progress here, just moving the cart while the Mercy's coming back online anyway. It doesn't look like they're going to do it quite a full regroup, but Venom CV going for this cheeky flank hog here, going to get something for it.
And will be another in close proximity, looking for the Mercy. Not going to throw the hook just yet, holding off to find that bird in the sky. No, not going to be able to do so. The displacement to cause some distance here. And I am not at all against this choice by Venom to use the Roadhog right here.
Yeah, it's not typically how we like to see, or how we see, rather, a lot of Roadhog being played, but if it works, you cash in your chips where you can.
Ooh!
And both Pharah's going down.
And the res to come out. Will we see the second? No, we probably won't, just because the pressure is there. There it is! Gonna get both Pharahs back online because this air battle is never over with the dogfight, as we do have Shanko maybe gonna survive with the snow, going to die in the sleep. As you see now, consistent pressure by at least 6 and doing a great job to try and now hope to regroup.
Yeah, Feshel really trying their best to commit to the same amount of skill as they're seeing their counterpart, and right now it looks like they're performing much better on this attack than they perhaps did against their counterpart on the defense.
I gotta say, putting Delve Ferre on that back foot, getting the triple, Venom claiming the final kill onto Aura Creature, no longer having that Orisa shield in the back line as the Tracer looks to dash around by Googly Eyes, but get meleeed to the face by Lord. As you will just see them continue to stagger on this point, trying to just run the clock as much as possible. They will reach it now a little bit out of position on the opposite side of the wall. They're going to have to play very careful here.
Yeah, TLP were getting knocked a little bit out, but it's going to be Captain Mongoose with the body presence, I guess, to just allow that Guardian Angel out of there. It's really crucial. You don't want to lose that Mercy too early. You don't want to lose the Mercy at all, honestly.
No, not at all. I mean, it's one of those things, especially when you have the Pharah. Ooh, getting a nice melee there, as we saw in a Captain Mongoose. Just this ooh, but Googly Eyes saying, no, my friend, we're going on the hit scan. We are not going to deal with it any longer. Going to have not only rockets be thrown at the Pharah, but also the Cowgirl's bullets, as there's still 4 minutes to go. Dynamite on the front, really just going to try and harass at this moment.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing a bunch of ults online, particularly for the side of a Raw Storm. They're looking like they're stockpiling just a little bit. They may be saving up that Ana Nano for something spicy, and there it is. Exactly the spice.
Ooh, Nano boost to gain the double, but unfortunately too close to home to get that rocket to take him out. As the Riptire comes out in the backside, can they gain some value? Looking for that high ground position, does get the double by Walrus. Not surprised by this Junkrat main, as it's 3 minutes and 25 seconds still to go.
Yeah, it's just going to be Shanko who's going to be trying to get out of that spot. You definitely don't want to get caught out. You don't want to get staggered any more than the team already has. And now the ult's looking a little bit more equalized here. Aura going to be having that battle bongo. Derby going to be having those mines ready to go. But the mines might be a little tough to use with so many different kind of attack types here. You have the aerial, you have long range. It's going to be tough.
And even just the ability to just maneuver outside of it, the Viper shot, just this monkey in general, everything to just diverge away from it as they managed to get a huge collapse onto Raw Storm after getting the double kill by Derby. Regardless of it, the minefield worked out very well for them.
Yeah, a little bit of biting my own tongue there. It turned out to work just as planned, according to the team of at least 6. So they're going to be feeling pretty happy about that. And they have quite a time bank to move on to the 3rd phase here.
They really do. And with now having the opportunity to get that... Ooh, you were right, Shane. I was hearing your oohs and knowing exactly what you meant. As Walrus will take down Derby, though, making it an even 5 for 5. And they want to play the slow and steady push here. You do need to see at least 6 try to manage their ultimate economy, looking to contest so they can reach that golden box of victory here, as it's literally just out around the corner.
Yeah, and now we're going to be seeing Googly switch to that Reaper, perhaps to handle Derby, Shanko, and Venom a little bit. This is technically a triple tank comp, although not one we'd be too familiar with. But with the Reaper going down early, that's nice.
And the rocket's gonna rain, but will get very close to that platform, almost falling, barely able to keep track of all the momentum that's here. Shanko now in the backside, looking to give a lot of harass, getting the pick. They are just meters away. Can they reach it in time? Is anyone from Raw Storm gonna touch it? That might just be it. They're looking to claim it. The charge coming out will not be able to make it, as at least 6 with just the amount of time needed to prevent the Ryans' touch for a potential overtime, as that will be claiming victory with Derby running on that ball to victory, friends.
You like to see it. And man, Derby at the very end there, willing to be the ultimate sacrifice, rolling themselves towards the enemy team to knock them back and away from the cart. That's crucial, and look at that. As I mentioned before, the 3 kills, cleaning up the final defense for their team. We were performing very well overall on behalf of the team of at least 6.
I mean, as we look at it, there it is. Congratulations to at least 6 as they move forward in the RichRad Community Tournament. And let's just give a lovely round of applause to everyone who participated today, as it was one heck of a day. And I am so very grateful to have had the opportunity to have all of you participate as we continue to grow, not only as a community, but also just as me as a caster and everything else. And I'm so very grateful to have the casters that I had today, Sir Waltham and Gilgamesh. You have both been absolutely amazing. Thank you so very much for your time. It truly does mean a lot as I continue to network and grow through all of this, and to have you be a part of it as well. So I truly take my hat off to you, my friend, and if I only had one, I'll take my headphones off for a second, so we'll do that. Headphones off. But seriously, you have done fantastic, and I'm so very thankful that we at least had you a part of this, and I know that everybody tuning in and watching, which I have to say is probably one of the higher viewer counts that I've had, which I am extremely even more thrilled about. Thank you so very much, my friend, for being a part of this.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a great time. I hope that the rest of the games are as exciting as particularly this last one here. It was a great time. I had a ball. One of my favorite community events thus far. I hope
Thank you very much,
I hope we can coordinate something like this again in the future. But it's fantastic tournament. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. And again, we'll close it out for the night. Once again, for all of those who moved on, congratulations. For those of you that didn't, it is still amazing to have you participate and support everyone in the community as we continue to go to see who is going to be that #1 spot, the team to claim Rad Champs, and a lovely, pretty decal of their team with some very, very kindly donated points by Potatoheadguy for the 100 Owl tokens to get that maybe new skin you've been wanting for your special team as Owl continues. We will have some discussions after this tournament day today to figure out and coordinate some scheduling for tomorrow. I know it has gone back and forth for many times the last few days with some recent things happening in work obligations, so please definitely stay tuned in the tournament Discord so you can find out if there are any adjustments and alterations to the schedule to make sure that we are all on the same page. And without further ado, I'm just going to say, everybody, it is an absolute pleasure. I'm so very grateful to each and every one of you. You have literally made this become a reality. I want to just tell you, happy gaming. I look forward to tomorrow, and as always, my friends, there is always another day to play Overwatch, and just always remove the toxicity and salt that is within the community. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Yeah!
We could